It was about seeing your favorite team's uniforms, seeing a large crowd gathered, Times Square-esque, and highlights. You get to see football highlights
and you
in the middle of spring.
You talk about organizations that never get talked about in November and December. I mean, this is all about the Browns and the Titans and, the Jaguars, teams that nobody's going to be talking about once we get to meaningful football. Yeah, so for these fan bases, sadly, this is their big moment because they're always picking in the top five.
That's right.
The 2024 NBA Finals averaged 11 million.
Yeah.
NBA Finals.
Yeah, this is the first round of them calling out 32 names.
Yeah.
Well, hey, and that number, as you do this, Brown, if chalk plays out and we get a Cleveland Cavalier Oklahoma City final,
Will be less than that.
Oh my! I can't imagine how bad the numbers are going to be for this because I brought this up earlier in the show. Cleveland, I mean, your alpha, your superstar is Donovan Mitchell, and on the other side, Oklahoma City's got names, SGA, but still, it's. Is it not the smallest market in basketball?
Yeah,
maybe New Orleans is.
Now do Golden State versus the Boston Celtics.
Yeah, much different.
And the other thing I was going to point out is the World Series, which featured the two biggest brands in the sport last year.
Dodgers and Yankees.
And the two biggest markets in the sport.
Give me single digits.
15 million.
Oh,
not
15
that much
million.
more.
Okay.
No, I mean, it's really good. But, I mean, Jim, that was best case scenario. I got Dodgers, Yankees.
That's Shohei. That's Aaron Judge. I mean, that is.
It's the best. I mean, if you let Major League Baseball pick a World Series, they'd pick Dodgers, Yankees.
They do it again this year, too. Storm Restoration Roofing. By the way, the most watched draft ever. COVID year, 2020, $15.3 million. We
wanted anything.
We were dying to watch
anything that seemed normal.
Yeah. Our friends at Storm Restoration Roofing will make your roof normal again after a storm. It'll keep it normal as it ages. It'll be replaced. He can do that. Greg from Pell City can do that. Full roof replacements. Roofing repairs after storm damage. He's got his builder's license. He can do a lot of building repairs for you. He just does it all. He does it with a smile and a kind heart, caring heart, and he really does care about you. That's why he gives you a free, no cost, no obligation inspection. He'll get up on your roof and let you know what's going on up there. A lot of us don't know what's going on up there. It just takes one loose shingle to cause a water entry point that can cause major damage to you. Get that roof inspected for free by calling Greg from Pell City, 205-542-3531, 205-542-3531, or go on to Facebook, Greg from Pell City. By the way, a lot of insurance rules have changed in the last 12 months. Greg's on top of that. He's friends with the insurance providers. He can educate you on that as well. He'll give you that insurance checkup, too. 205-542-3531. Let Dr. Greg come see you, that insurance checkup. 205-542-3531. Greg from Pell City on Facebook. By the way, of the rookies, just the rookies, top jersey sale, who do you think it is?
Travis Hunter.
Travis Hunter. Who's second?
Man, the Titans just isn't a jersey seller.
There's no way. Is it Cam Ward?
It is Cam Ward. But Shedeur Sanders is number 3.
Well,
it might be a collector's item if he doesn't make that roster.
Can we sell Abdul Carter's jersey yet? Do we know his number?
Hunter, Ward,
See, I would think the Genty
Sanders.
jersey, man. The Raiders jersey is so good. I don't think people realize how good Ashton Genty's going to be if he stays healthy.
I saw a friend say, he does a podcast now. And he was so furious that Abdul Carter requested
he should be.
Lawrence Taylor's number.
It is kind of embarrassing when you think about it.
I mean, just furious about it. Like, how could I can't even do the accent, but he was like, how could this guy do this?
Full hour on it, probably?
I only saw like a 7-minute clip, but he was just railing on Abdul Carter.
But
I mean, everybody in that locker room is going to be doing the same.
Yeah.
Wait.
There's no off-season when it comes to college football. If you want to stay in the know with all things Alabama, join us over on covercrimson.com and get $25 off your annual subscription. We'll keep you up to date and give you exclusive content all the way to the first Saturday of football season on covercrimson.com.
All right, Auburn fans, I want you to become a member of thebarnauburn.com and join in on the fun. Whether it's recruiting discussions, off-season chatter, or the latest Auburn athletics news, we've got it all. Get $25 off your annual subscription when you sign up for your account at thebarnauburn.com today. War Eagle.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, live show now on a Wednesday as we roll in. No Lance today. He's back with us tomorrow. That's Ryan Brown, Jim Dunaway, Tyler Forrester Milton behind the big glass. EG covering everything for us on the road and hanging out, helping with everything behind the scenes is our in-the-field reporter. And, of course, Taylor Korn is on social media at Next Round Live. We always ask you, if you miss any part of the show, to go to Apple, Spotify, iHeart, Google Podcast, and comment, like, subscribe there. But most importantly, hit those automatic downloads. That helps us out a lot. Brownie, as we get going today, there's so much to get to in college football. Later in the show, we got Richard Hendrix with us to start hour 2 to talk a little college basketball. Andy Staples is with us to start hour number 3 to talk college football and the rankings there. But as we get going today, I want to talk a little college football and recruiting.
Okay.
Man, there's something going on at Vandy that's pretty impressive. I don't see this often. Recruits come and go. We're not a recruiting show.
Right. In fact, I pay less attention to it now than I ever have, honestly, with the transfer portal.
That's right. High school recruiting is...
It's still important.
It is, but it's lower than it's ever been before.
Yeah, I mean, if you screw it up, you can always fix it in the portal. It's like used to if you screwed recruiting up, it could be a death knell for you as a head coach. Like if you got one bad class or you really missed on some guys, you were in trouble. But now you could fix it pretty easily in the portal.
In fact, you have to, I think. But Vandy got, and maybe because of this, Vandy got a top 80 recruit, the number 9 cornerback yesterday, Caden Harris, and he gets him.
The number 9 quarterback in Tennessee?
Number 9 cornerback.
Corner.
Defensive back in the country at the corner. In America. Top 80 overall recruit, so a top 100, a blue chipper, a 4-star guy. Caden Harris. And Vandy beat out Georgia, Notre Dame, and Auburn for this guy. Now, it's a long way to signing day. Got to hold on to him. And Georgia, Notre Dame, and Auburn, they got money, so they can come after him at some point. But he's from Brownsville, Tennessee, and he says, I like the trajectory that Vandy's program is on. Things you don't often hear in recruiting there. Do you think it's an impact a little bit because of the portal that maybe some of these high school guys aren't getting recruited at the same level?
Maybe that's it. I don't know. I mean, I do wonder if there are positions, and I'm not saying this would be the case in this, but just stay with me on this one, okay? Let me talk through this.
Okay.
If there are positions that are very, very difficult to evaluate on the high school level, so let's assume corner is one of those, and I think it would be, honestly, because a kid may play in a state or a region or a level of football that just doesn't throw a lot, and you just don't get to see him. Now you can evaluate a lot of his intangibles. You can evaluate, how quick does he drop? Those things. How fast is he? What's his size? How long are his arms? All those things.
This guy's 6'1", so he's got all the measurables.
But I don't get a whole lot of video of him covering quality receivers, right? So it's kind of hard for me to evaluate that. So if that were the case, you might look at it and say, I will go to the portal for that because I get to see him do it against college receivers. And I know.
That's right. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so it's easier for me to evaluate that one in the portal. Now,
college on college.
That's right. Now, if I'm looking for a good run blocking offensive line, every high school football team runs the football. Like I get tons of film on an offensive tackle run blocking. But if he's in the wishbone, I don't get a ton of film on him pass blocking, right? So How good is his pass blocking? He hasn't done a whole lot of it in his career. I'm going to have to teach that. So you may look at that. So, yeah, I could see how, the portal could impact certain positions where you recruit. Now, again, I don't want to diminish what Vandy has done here and say that's the only reason they're getting a top 10 cornerback out of this. Is it this upcoming class? This next signing class?
It's class of 2026. Yeah. So that's what they're working on there. We'll see if they hold on to him. That was one thing I saw yesterday. Not the craziest thing I saw yesterday. I saw a kangaroo on the side of a road yesterday.
Okay.
So now follow me here. Well, you got.
I want to go back to the cornerback in a minute, but I'm good. I'm good with this.
I've got Vandy getting a top 80 recruit and beating out Georgia, Notre Dame, and Auburn.
Right.
That was in my shock meter, but then the kangaroo yesterday passed that. I was like, man, the Vandy just got a big recruit. And then Forster,
that's Australia, right?
And then Forster is sending this to me. Forster, microphone, jump in here.
Is this New Zealand or Australia,
Yeah,
Scott?
is this down under? Where is this happening?
This is in close to Auburn.
Oh, really?
Close to Auburn.
Oh, gosh, he's in the road.
Oh,
Yeah, those are native to Auburn, right?
damn! I hate when they don't turn on their blinkers when they're changing lanes.
It's a 2-lane change. He should be on 280.
So
Pretty inconsiderate.
Yeah.
I mean, is it? I'm not a hunter, but is it kangaroo season right now? Can I shoot the kangaroo? Do I get in trouble if is kangaroo good meat? Well, I mean, what are we doing in South Alabama?
People do eat kangaroo, yeah.
This is outside of Auburn.
I'm assuming that would be frowned upon if you.
Yes, just as a society, right? That cute little creature that would kick your ass if it had the opportunity.
Although they apparently did have to tranquilize it.
Yeah. Now, Brown, I wonder if this is the kangaroo you and I saw at Auburn in the back of the truck.
I was thinking about that last night when I saw that. I was thinking that perhaps this connects because it is in Auburn, but I couldn't remember if those people actually live in Auburn. They were in Auburn that day. So, Dunaway, help me remember. Was that 2019 Iron Bowl? I think it was.
It was a Jordan Hare Iron Bowl.
Maybe 2021. It was a Jordan Hare Iron Bowl.
Yep.
Dunaway and I had parked at the media lot, Tyler, and we were walking to the stadium. You, as an Auburn graduate, would be familiar with this area. We were walking to Jordan Hare Stadium. It was a nice day, so I think we chose not to take the media shuttle Dunaway. We were like, it's a nice day. Let's just walk to Jordan Hare. Very nice day.
We were hungry. We were hoping to get invited to a tailgate
That's right.
or two.
So we're walking.
Hey, there's the next round, guys.
Yeah. So
you want a burger? Want a brat?
So we're walking up the road there, and a gentleman from one of the parking lots says, Dunaway and Brown. And we're like, hey, how you doing? No.
Yeah.
No, come here.
Here's our hot dog chance.
Come here. And we're like, oh, food. Let's go food. He goes, I got something I want to show you guys. Well, when somebody says that, I mean.
That's never a good
you say that. I mean, it could be a good thing. But I'm like, oh, my gosh, we're at an Iron Bowl. What could this be? Chris Davis's ball from the kick six. I mean, it's a Jordan Hare Iron Bowl. There's no telling. I mean, that's a complete circus anyway, right? A Jordan Hare Iron Bowl. Guy opens the back door of, I think, like a Toyota Tacoma truck, Nissan Titan, something like that. And there's a kangaroo in the back seat.
Yep.
A little baby kangaroo.
Just sitting there.
And I said, that's a kangaroo. And the guy said, yep, it's my pet kangaroo. He was very proud of it.
He was.
Took it out and held it like a baby.
So what happened here, Forrester? A car accident? Give me the details on the video that you just showed us. You can roll it again if you want to. I don't care. I like seeing it.
But I don't have a whole lot of detail here, Jim. It's a kangaroo hopping down the interstate in Auburn. I didn't really
got that part. So, do we know, Scott, if it was caught? I know you don't have any details.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I did read that in an article that they did tranquilize it.
They tranquilized it.
Yes.
Okay.
I have.
You think that would be traumatizing to see for some little kid, sitting in traffic there?
Here's what James Spann reported, the text that Forrester sent me, and then Tyler may have more information.
How does this impact the weather?
I-85 kangaroo update from ALEA. That's the Alabama
Law Enforcement Agency.
Thank you, Brandon.
You're welcome.
I was going back to my news days. A 2-vehicle crash occurred 11:50 yesterday at the end of our show. We were not involved. A kangaroo was involved, though. The crash occurred in the southbound lane of Interstate 85 near the 46-mile marker in Macon County. Eventually, both the southbound and northbound lanes of the interstate were shut down as the folks with the state troopers and animal control tried to recover the kangaroo. The animal has now been recovered, and the roadway is back open. The kangaroo was not injured in the crash.
Thankfully.
Thank you to Austin Price for that video there, Austin.
Yep. I guess no humans were hurt in the crash either. There was no clarification there. But.
Auburn football, though. Auburn football punter Hudson Kaak, K-A-A-K. How would you pronounce that?
I'll probably go with the first one of the two that you used. Of the two you used right there, I would start with the first one until corrected.
Well, there was a baseball pitcher used to be Cott. K-A-A-T.
I thought that was Cat. Is it Cott?
No, it was Cott.
I think it was Cott.
It was Cott. K-A-A-T. So going by that pronunciation of a K-A-A and putting a K at the end, that is cock. So Hudson.
Indeed it is, Jim.
Hudson very quickly, booger, which is a Australian term.
That's very.
Skippy got out.
That'd be bugger.
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 There you go.
Oh, bugger.
Skippy got out. I must have left my gate open this morning.
That's pretty good. I like
to which I said, oh, wow. I wonder if he's only joking about that. And Scott quickly said, obviously he's joking. And then backed it up with, I assume.
I assume. You never know. He is Australian.
Well, I mean,
I don't know if
they all have kangaroos.
I don't know if the Australian punter for Auburn brought his pet kangaroo with him. Anyway, interesting story yesterday on Alabama roadways.
Did you have more, Tyler?
Yeah, I had more for trash.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Oh, was this in trash?
Yes.
Okay.
But it's more. You got more.
I assume I need to send that to you.
Yes, you do. With Lance out today. Lance is on. I don't know how to describe this because if I describe what it actually is, it's going to sound way more cryptic than it really is. But Lance had an opportunity to represent our show at something, but he was unsure if he could share photos or videos. It's really cool if he can, but he didn't know. So he's representing our show at something, but he doesn't. I know that sounds super cryptic, and I don't mean it to be.
Right.
But that's where Lance is today. He's representing our show at kind of an event thing. May or may not be able to share video or photos. If he can, some of you will find it interesting, and we'll do it on the show. But if not, he's just representing our show today at something, and we'll be back tomorrow. So,
all right.
There you go.
Our show being brought to you today by our friends at Lags. We've all been by there to try their wonderful lunch and dinner. And you can swing by at Lags. They're also open late night, and you can go by there and get a breakfast as well. Brown, this is an old Homewood tradition here. And I will tell you, the tater tots, that may be my picture, actually, that tater tot right there.
I think it is.
I asked for them crispy. They made them just like I ordered. The burger was tremendous. The atmosphere with the patio. I was out there that day watching the Masters with a nice cold Diet Coke and that burger and tot there. Lags has breakfast for you every morning, late night, after you've maybe been out watching live music there in Avondale. It's the Avondale location. You see the times there, 2 a.m. on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You can go by there. Always open at 6 a.m. in the morning, except on Sunday where they sleep in and open the door at 10 a.m. Great breakfast, great lunch, great dinner. Come on by and enjoy the great tradition that is Lags over in the Avondale area, right next to Mom's Basement, if you're familiar with that. It's a great place to go enjoy a cold one and a great lunch on the patio. That's our friends at Lags, and also our friends at A+. Brownie, tell us about A+.
AlabamaBathRemodels.com. That's the website, AlabamaBathRemodels.com. That is who redid the bathroom in the Brown house. When it came time to redo our bathroom, my wife jumped on the internet, scoured that bad boy to find the right person for the job. In doing that, she talked to a lot of contractors, people that had used certain contractors, read a ton of reviews. She did her homework, is what I'm telling you. That's the way she does these things, and except when she picked me to marry. And she picked Brad Bell to do the bathroom, a much better decision there. He did tremendous work for us. Did it exactly the way we wanted it done. He didn't come in and try to sell us a vision. He wanted our vision. And so many of you have listened and you've hired Brad, and I get such great feedback on this. He does such great work. Here's what he specializes in. Not to say it's all he does, but he specializes in master bath, kitchen, and master bedroom closets. That's what he specializes in, master bath, kitchen, and master bedroom closets. And I tell you that because when you go to sell your home, you're going to make your money back on that, and you're going to enjoy those rooms when you have it. Here's Brad's number, 205-422-1758. That's 205-422-1758 or AlabamaBathRemodels.com, AlabamaBathRemodels.com, or Brad Bell, 205-422-1758. Well, can I give you another thought on the Vandy thing? I don't know if you were finished with that or not.
The Vanderbilt recruit?
Yeah, the Vanderbilt recruit.
I was, but if you've got another thought, I want to hear it.
We had a discussion, and I think the topic of the discussion was, and I can't even remember the program we were comparing it to, the program we were using for a jumping off point in this discussion. But it was basically a program that has historically not been really good that could make that jump over the next 20 years and become a contender in football. Maybe we were looking back at what Frank Beamer did at Virginia Tech or Bill Snyder at Kansas State or what Bobby Bowden did to take Florida State from a girls' school to a national power. And I remember, and it's been a while ago, but I remember bringing up Vanderbilt and getting laughed at. And people were like, there's no way you could ever make Vanderbilt into a good program. But the point I was making is you're in a great city. Nashville is a fantastic city. It's a good school. Now, that has become an issue in football for them sometimes because it can be tough to get some players in there that you want to try to get in there because it is a very good academic institution. But in this day of NIL, And one of the things that I think hurts Vandy a little bit is a lot of their alums aren't huge sports fans. They have a international enrollment that doesn't really care about American football a lot of times. They go off and they become doctors and lawyers, but they don't really have a tie to Southern football. It's not like when a kid goes to Ole Miss or Alabama or Auburn and they get invested in the football program while they're there. Go to a Vandy game. The students barely even show up a lot of times.
Yeah, which is you're now making the argument I was going to say to you why I laughed at you and would still laugh at you today is that there's not enough interest in Vandy football to make Vandy football great.
But the point that day and my point is right now, if they could scrape together some NIL, I really think it's got a lot of the elements that could make that in. I'm not saying they could become the next Alabama or Georgia.
No, but you did say they could become the next Virginia Tech or Florida State, which is why I laugh at you, because they can't. They can't. It's not sustainable.
You can't say they can't.
I can say they can. They cannot.
They cannot.
They are in a league that will prevent them from ever being that. Virginia Tech grew to what they grew into, partly because they had an elite coach that stayed there forever and ever and ever, and they were able to build in the Big East and get some name recognition.
Right.
And that helped them tremendously. And as they continued to win a little bit, they got an iconic player in Michael Vick and played for a national championship. Florida State was in a recruiting hotbed, got a legendary coach that stayed there.
Right.
And the key here is legendary coach that stayed there, recruiting hotbed, fan base that cared enough. The stadium's too small, not enough fans. I'm going to go out on a limb. This is going to shock everybody. I think you guys overplay the city of Nashville tremendously. Tremendously. It's a good city. To call it a great city, tremendously. I'd love to hear the chat. Let's just do a quick, not what's it called? It's not
scientific. All right, this is just the YouTube, Facebook chat, and Twitter chat.
Not scientific.
What are we looking at here?
Nashville is Nashville. The
greater Nashville area. Let's include Franklin and all of that. Nashville Metro is Nashville Metro what?
Is it becoming the most overrated topic by people like Brown and LT and others? I just don't think it. Is it better than Atlanta? Yes. Would I rather go to an event in Nashville than Atlanta? Yes. Is it the greatest American city of all time, like you guys paint it all the time?
That is so absurd. I have never.
Anytime you guys start talking about Nashville,
greatest American
help me
city.
Out here. Nashville.
Nashville's a fantastic town.
Great city. Great city.
It is a great city.
The Vanderbilt can become an unbelievable football franchise program. Because Nashville's a great city.
I'm not as high on Nashville as Brown and LT are.
Okay.
Me either.
But I do love the food there.
Me either.
Well, what do you not like about it?
How crowded downtown is. It's just
okay.
It's just
well, that is
such
any big city in America, so you don't like any of those. But it is crowded. I don't disagree with you. It's crowded. What do you not?
I'm with Jim. I don't love Nashville either.
Okay.
Like it's a good city.
It's good.
It's all right.
What do you not like about it? What keeps it from being great?
I don't know. I think it's crowded. It's kind of it's very in your face.
By the way, as a sports town, it's a crappy sports town.
I mean, I don't particularly care for hockey. Hockey is probably their best sport.
I mean, they support the Preds really well.
They do.
Yeah. So good hockey town.
Yeah.
If you can be a good hockey town in the South.
Well, I mean, they are.
But it's a good hockey
best
town.
Southern hockey town there is, I think.
I mean, I guess they've got good football fans, but I don't care to watch the Titans. I've never liked that stadium.
I don't either.
Yeah, they're building a great stadium.
That's right.
That may help the sports.
Do you like Bridgestone? Bridgestone's an excellent arena, I think.
I've got Bridgestone in the show today. Since we're talking Nashville, Bridgestone, by the way, the Bridgestone Arena folks, they decided they're not going to build a new arena. They're doing a $650 million expansion to Bridgestone, making it look better, some seats, and improving the outside. It's going to become the largest rooftop bar on Broadway, Bridgestone Arena.
Oh, that's really cool, actually.
Yep. And they're configuring it to make it a better basketball arena as well. It's great for the SEC tournament when I go there. I enjoy that, but they're preparing for a WNBA permanent team there in Nashville. Listen, I love the SEC tournament there. I don't want the basketball to be anywhere else but there.
Okay.
I enjoy my time in Nashville, but you guys make it sound like it's the holy grail of American cities.
You're badly overstating this.
Yeah.
But do you want the feedback you asked for?
Oh, would
here?
love to.
Kelly, I don't love it. Chris, agree with Dunaway. Dave, if you're a bridesmaid, maybe.
Good one, Dave.
Different Kelly. Great area. Forrester's already given his viewpoint. Daniel, I really like Nashville. Morgan, Nashville is awesome. G. Wilson, great city. Nicholas, if you want to party, then yes, but overall it is not. Ross, it's way too crowded, but I could say that about every single big city. That's no doubt. Chris agrees with Forrester. He said what Forrester said. Nick can take or leave Nashville.
So we're about 50-50 so far.
Dave, I liked Nashville 10 years ago. Tyler, if you don't drink and like country music, not much else going on. Jacob, Nashville's a really cool area. Jim's the king of moving the goalpost mid-conversation. Somebody else has seen it. Thank you, Jacob. You are my favorite person in the chat right now.
I mean, how am I moving the goalpost?
You do that all the time.
You guys sell Nashville. I mean, it's like Nashville. It's like, in y'all's eyes, it's Birmingham, Nashville, heaven. Like if they moved the pearly gates just a little further down on the map, it would be Nashville.
Yeah, I enjoy going. I go to Nashville probably 6-7 times a year, and I enjoy it every time I go. I don't think it's anywhere close to
Nashville
heaven.
every time I go, but it as a selling point on recruits for Vanderbilt. I mean, I think a lot of the kids that go to Vanderbilt are fans of other SEC schools, including Tennessee, including Clay Travis, who I think, is he a Vandy grad or a Tennessee grad?
Clay is a Vandy grad. Clay is a George Washington grad. I think he went to Vandy Law, maybe.
Okay,
I don't know.
But he's a Tennessee fan.
He's a Tennessee fan. I don't think he ever attended school at Tennessee.
I think a lot of people who go to Vandy are fans of Alabama and Auburn and Tennessee and Ole Miss and Georgia and places like that. I just don't think Vandy could ever become anything.
Well, someone, and the chat's moving way too fast for me here, but somebody asked, if it is better than Atlanta, does that make it the best SEC city? What's your best SEC city?
Well, see, that's where
call them all a city. They're all a city. What's your best one?
Because now, to me, an SEC city is a town like Auburn, right? A town like Starkville.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Just consider them all a city.
I mean, Nashville is,
and I think you've gone to about all of them.
Multiple times.
Yeah. See, I didn't really care for Austin.
I loved Austin.
I thought Austin was okay.
Austin's okay. I mean, Austin to people out there, Austin is to what you guys make Nashville to be.
I like Austin better than Nashville personally.
I did not.
But I rank. It's not an SEC city, but I'd rank New Orleans above all of them.
I like Lexington more than I like Nashville.
I don't hate Lexington. Lexington's a pretty cool little city.
I lived there.
Yeah, I like it. Did you like it when you lived there?
I liked it, and I like it now too. I like Lexington.
Yeah. I know Auburn fans will cringe at this. I like Athens, but last time I was in Athens, I literally said I knew they would cringe. But last time I was in Athens, it had gotten run down a little bit, be honest with you.
Yeah.
The last time I visited, I wasn't as blown away.
See, that's just it. I don't spend the night in Athens ever.
I think Chase in the chat has the right answer, Knoxville.
I really like
right
Knoxville.
Next to the Smokies.
Yeah, Knoxville's a pretty city. Big enough, you got stuff to do there. Jim does not like Knoxville.
I don't dislike Knoxville.
What do you like? Give me what you like.
Knoxville.
Just give me what you like. Auburn and Tuscaloosa, take them off the board. You won't offend anybody here.
Well, no, I don't mind. I enjoy going to Auburn, Alabama. I enjoy it.
Okay, Auburn's a great town.
It's a nice place to go. I don't always feel safe, but I enjoy going to Baton Rouge. I love game days in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, I do.
But I think we're talking about different than game days. Yeah. You guys think I'm crazy, but unfortunately their sports are not very great, but especially baseball, they're changing coaches now. But Starkville is a fun trip.
Starkville and Oxford are really cool places to go. I like both of them.
Surprisingly good food and good casual drink. Now, see, I'm not 21 anymore.
Newsflash.
Yeah, I'm just... So if I'm in my 20s, I understand why you may love Nashville. Or if you're older than 20 and like to talk to... young women at a bar, then I understand why you'd love Nashville. I just, I like a place that I can go and enjoy, being outside, listen to live music. Nashville checks that box for me. But the bars get really crowded there. And I enjoy going to Auburn. I enjoy going to Starkville, Oxford. I enjoy Baton Rouge.
Hey, here's one we haven't mentioned.
Those are SEC towns. Fayetteville.
Columbia, South Carolina.
Hey,
Columbia's cool.
Yeah. It's all personal experiences. I enjoyed my time in Columbia.
Yeah, I've never been a huge Columbia guy. Now, I will always say their game day atmosphere surprises you.
Yep.
For a program that has accomplished as little as they have accomplished, their game day is really, really good.
But see, here's the thing. How many times have you spent the night in Columbia?
A few.
3 or 4. My brother used to live not far from there.
Okay,
so I've been there more than you would think I have.
So I've spent the night in Columbia. Last time was 2017 when I was filling in for Chris Stewart on the Nick Saban show back then, and I went up with the team. I guess I got there really early, and so I had a overnight stay there, and then game day was. I got there Thursday night, so I was there all day Friday, and then game day was on Saturday. And so I don't know why I went up so early. I guess to do the radio show on Friday morning.
Maybe.
Back then, so I wouldn't miss the radio show.
Yeah.
And I got to spend a whole afternoon walking around Columbia, restaurants and happy hours and that. It was really nice. It was surprisingly.
What about Como? You went to Como. Now, this is another thing on the long list of things Dunaway was underwhelmed by, Shakespeare's Pizza in Como.
Shakespeare's
People make
Pizza
a big
was
deal about it.
the most overrated pizza in the SEC.
I'm with you, Jim.
Everybody's like, man, Shakespeare's Pizza. Dunaway came back. He's like,
Yeah, I could take you to now. I could take you to 2 places just in Mountain Brook and find you better pizza
100%
than I could at Shakespeare's Pizza.
Yeah.
I think pizza shops are like the #1 places that get overhyped.
Oh,
People-
really? Like across the board?
Just across the board.
Oh, yeah.
People find their favorite one, and that's the best. If you visit the city, you've got to try it. It's the best pizza you'll ever have.
Some of the most overrated pizza in the world is in Chicago.
I believe it.
The places that these guys throw out.
Gino's East. That's my favorite deep dish. But I'm not a huge deep dish guy. I could take or leave deep dish.
These guys throw out this pizza, and I could take you to the one I never remember the name of.
Pequods or something like
Pequods,
that.
I think. And it puts these to shame.
Yeah.
But nobody ever mentions the one I mentioned.
Yeah.
But, travel it's all personal. It's all personal. It's whatever experience you have there. When we've gone to Nashville for the SEC basketball tournament the last 2 years, Little T and I, we've had a blast. You know why? Because Auburn and Alabama's been good at basketball.
That's right. It was a fun
so everybody's
trip.
been in a good mood,
That's
right?
it, yeah.
It's like the CBS 42 days when I would do a post-game show after Alabama, and they were in the middle of Nick Saban's run. They came to me one day, and they're like, Jim, your Q rating is the highest of the station here. We want to make you our main news anchor, and you're the only one that shows up on this and that. And I was like, you guys are insane. The only reason people like me is because I'm the first face they see after Alabama's won a football game.
That's right.
So they don't like me.
They like Nick Saban.
They like Alabama winning. I just happen to be the person they see talking about it. So they're like, I like this guy.
He's talking about Alabama.
He's about to let me hear Nick Saban's post-game news conference.
They think I'm the gatekeeper.
Yeah. So somebody calls him up. Hey, who's your favorite sportscaster? That guy that's on right after Alabama wins a football game. So Little T and I love Nashville. You know why? Because Auburn and Alabama's good at basketball. We go cover them there. So Nashville, Vandy, good get for them, Brandy. They'll never be Virginia Tech and Florida State to come full circle.
Yeah,
there.
full circle. But I enjoyed the conversation about SEC markets. Yes.
Yeah. No, I love SEC football.
I do too.
And this time of year, if we could do anything here, if we ever wanted to do it, I would sign up. We would never convince LT to do this. He would never do this. But I would love to jump on a Johnson RV. Johnson RV.
RV from Johnson
bus.
RV.
Can we call it a bus? Johnson RV.
I think you're
bus.
looking for motorhome is the phrase you're looking for there. Yes.
Just jump on that thing, and the whole crew. I don't know how many we can sleep. Can we get a 9-sleeper, 8-sleeper?
That's a big motorhome. That's more like a tour bus there.
Yeah,
We'd have to have it.
Let's get a tour bus
retrofitted.
And I would have a blast if we set out and we charted a course and we would go do a show 16 straight days from each SEC town. And we have it lined up to where the head coach and a couple of assistants and players would come join us, and we'd just sit down and we'd do 3 hours of just talking about that school, that program, that day. and then we hop on our bus and we drive to the next city and do that 16 days. That would be a bucket list thing for me to do with this show.
Can we skip Gainesville?
Scott, not a fan of the game.
I'm not a fan of Gainesville either.
It's terrible.
I've spent very little time there, but passing through, I'm like, wow.
I've spent a couple of nights
a lot
in
of
Gainesville.
wow.
Gainesville would be near the bottom for me. Columbia may be the bottom for me. Fayetteville, surprisingly good.
I've never been to Fayetteville, but I've actually heard good things. I've heard
Fayetteville's cool.
Yeah,
Surprisingly good. In downtown Fayetteville. Now, I'm not talking about the Walmart area, the guys that admitted Walmart. But
Bentonville or wherever. What about College Station?
I love College Station.
I like College Station a lot. It's got my favorite stop in food-wise in the SEC.
Which is what, Scott?
Place called Fuego. It's a 24-hour taco joint.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Okay.
Oh, I'll have to try that next time I'm there.
Scott was literally in Fuego.
Yeah, in Fuego.
Thank you, Tyler.
It's funny. I can probably make a checklist now of SEC towns I have thrown up in.
College Station right at the top.
College Station would probably be the worst. Had to have an IV just to make it to the stadium. Athens may have been my first ever.
So that broke the seal.
Yeah, because Athens is known for 60 bars and 6 blocks. Right?
That is right. And you hit 30 of them.
And the first time I went there as a reporter, I tried to do them all, and was walking back to my hotel room, and got tired of walking, and decided I could make a quick cut instead of walking up to the corner of the street and going this way to get to my hotel. I was going to walk down this embankment. It had rained apparently earlier that day. And
you went Jay Leno?
Second step, and slid down the hill. So when I made it back to my hotel room, I'm covered in mud and a little tipsy on bourbon.
It just sounds like you were immersing yourself in the UGA football culture.
The old culture
What it tells you is I can't handle my liquor. I'm not a good drinker. I don't drink every day, but when I do, I drink.
Play for the win.
I can't handle it because I don't drink every day. So I guess binge drink and then end up needing an IV to make it to the stadium in College Station. All right, when we come back, the Field of 68 has a group of players that have a big NBA choice that have to be made. What they say about Auburn's Tahad Pettiford, we'll get to that. Richard Hendrix talks basketball at 10. Also in the next segment, we will get to our 4 downs today. That's coming up on the show. That is being brought to you by our friends at Lakefest. Brandy, tell us about Lakefest.
Yeah, it's Logan Martin Lakefest. It is the 15th annual. In fact, tomorrow we are going to be celebrating the start of Lakefest a little bit early. Live from the Buffalo Wild Wings in Pell City. We'll be there 5 to 7. Come hang out with us. We'll be doing a live show, but you come by and hang out with us in person as well. It is the 15th annual Logan Martin Lakefest and Boat Show presented by AmFirst, May 9 through 11. Logan Martin Lake in Pell City. It is totally free to the public. It is Alabama's biggest in-water boat show. 80 boats and vehicles on display. Lake lifestyle vendors, food trucks, beer garden, live music all weekend. Tons of giveaways. They will have a fireworks show Friday night to honor our great United States veterans. Mermaids and Mateys Parade on Saturday. Free mimosas for Mom on Sunday. LoganMartinLakefest.com for more information. LoganMartinLakefest.com.
And our friends at Storm Restoration Roofing. Greg from Pell City, a guy that has been on a lot of roofs. Of those of you that are watching and listening to our show right now, if you have never had Greg from Pell City come out and give you a free no-cost roof inspection, now's the time to take advantage of that. Free, no-obligation roof inspection. Greg will come and take a look at it. 205-542-3531, 542-3531. One of the most honest guys you'll ever meet. That is so important for a guy that'll get on your roof. He'll get up there and tell you, man, your roof's fine, probably for another 4 or 5 years. He'll also let you know if you got a problem up there, he can fix it. He's got a builder's license. He can do some repairs or building projects at your house as well, but full roof replacement. He specializes in that. Roofing repairs, storm damage repairs. He's got great relationships with insurance providers. So, being locally owned for over 20 years, he's able to maybe maximize the amount that the insurance provider is going to pay you, and he knows the ins and outs of the rules and
He can help you understand maybe your insurance coverage a little better. He's just a good dude. If you got roofing needs, you got a home, let Greg take care of you. Greg from Pell City, 205-542-3531, or just look him up on Facebook. It's Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that quality legal services speaking performance greater than those of other lawyers.
Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game, or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken.
Birmingham's fastest party returns to Barber Motorsports Park May 2nd through 4th. Medical Properties Trust presents the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix powered by AmFirst. Experience 3 days of high-speed action featuring the fastest drivers in the world from the IndyCar Series. Enjoy the Kids Zone, food trucks, beer garden, Ferris wheel, fan zone, and more. The Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix powered by AmFirst. Kids 15 and under get in free. Get your tickets now.
When you crave activity like we do, you belong in the Roback family. Get the best golf wear, hoodies, and activewear for men and women at Roback.com. Use promo code TNR20 to get 20% off your order. That's Roback.com, promo code TNR20.
We love the moments, the memories, the magic, the championships. So let's get more victories. More celebration.
He's got a chance. He won't be caught.
More unforgettable. More football. More of what you love.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on The Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at The Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
The World Wide Web is a large place. Find all your favorite people and content in the same spot. NextRoundLive.com is full of wonderful tidbits about the show you know and love. Find our gear, listen to your favorite personalities, follow our socials, and enjoy your trip to NextRoundLive.com.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that quality legal services speaking performance greater than those of other lawyers.
Hey, Richard Hendrix talks to Todd Pettiford, NBA draft, SEC portal, all that coming up with us at the top of the hour. Emily Grace McWhorter in with us. We'll get to four downs. We're going to talk a little baseball, too. You see her on the Pennant Grace yesterday, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 12:15 with Josh. You can catch up on that episode. We'll talk Braves and some cool baseball records in just a second after Brownie tells us about Dr. B, the guy that's doing the Lord's work on his hair right now. Yes.
Mine and Lance's and many of yours as well. T3hair.net is the website to get started, T3hair.net. You go in and you see our guy, Dr. B, and you get that one-on-one evaluation. It's not one of those, factories where they just run people through there and do the same thing for everybody. He's going to talk to you first and just determine what you want to see happen, right? Then he's going to walk you through some of the options there. They're going to do testing, DNA testing, to make sure the genetics match up with what his plan is. And then when they piece all of that together and make sure you got the right plan, the right goals, the right genetical model there, they are going to recommend a process to you. You see that RV, that UV light hat there. Not putting RV on my head, EG. The UV light hat that Lance and I both used, 30 minutes, 3 times a week, and it grows your hair back naturally. It's amazing. And by the way, the technology is constantly changing. That's why you need to go see Dr. B for that risk-free evaluation. T3hair.net. T3hair.net for our guy, Dr. Beckenstein.
All right. Also, our friends at Hemp Hill, they bring you the lock every day. Lance'sLock.com. Lance has plays up for you there at Lance'sLock.com. Hemp Hill keeps everything in play in your house. If it's not running right, draining right, or flowing right, Hemp Hill will take care of you, whether you need an experienced plumber or somebody to take care of your heating or cooling system. They can do it for you. That includes your big business as well. They can handle any size project right there. QR code for Lance's Lock on your screen, but you can call Hemp Hill at 205-229-2090, 229-2090. The name Birmingham's trusted since the 1950s. That is almost 75 years now. That's our friends at Hemp Hill. Hemp Hill Services. Go and check them out.
Genetical is a word, by the way. Scott.
Genetical?
Yes, it is. I just looked it up. This Forrester is questioning me from the back row. Genetical is 100% a word.
Why not? Big Braves fan here.
Learn something new every day.
I know. That's what this show's about.
Atlanta area native. 8-2 win last night. 14 hits for the Braves, and Atlanta Braves themselves send out this graphic. Since April 18th, the Braves offense has been on fire. I want your reaction after just for the people listening, I'll give this to them. 3rd in Major League Baseball in batting average since April 18th. 4th in on-base percentage in Major League Baseball. 3rd in hits, 100 hits, 14 of them last night in Major League Baseball. 3rd in the National League in home runs, 3rd in the National League in runs scored. The Braves offense starting to help out the pitching a little bit.
Yeah, it's taken a minute, but one thing I do want to point out is that this correlates to when Alex Verdugo was brought up. So there was a lot of discussion about what the Braves are doing in the offseason, and he has electrified this offense, him and someone by the name of Eli White. And I'm sure you guys don't know who that is.
I've heard the name.
And he is someone that has been a catalyst for this offense. And if the Braves fans listening, like you guys, we kind of thought this offense was not ever going to come back after the start that the Braves had. And I'm really curious, was it, just Verdugo that came in the mix? Was it a team meeting that took place? But the approach at the plate has been so different. There is a new hitting coach. And one thing that Atlanta has been able to do is they have been able to get more walks, extend at bats. But what was going on is that they weren't getting any run support with that. So the inevitable was happening, but now they're combining that with that run support.
It seemed like it correlated with the catcher Murphy coming.
Sean Murphy, yeah. He's also made a difference, and also he wears glasses along with Eli White, so maybe it's like a trend there that the Four Eyes guys are getting some.
Did they
love.
just start wearing them, or they've been wearing them?
Freddie Freeman did that one time.
Yeah. Sean Murphy, I don't think usually wears them. He had like an astigmatism and brought them.
Oh, I got that too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's why I can't see on the golf course. Like I played yesterday.
You have to tell me if the ball's. I have to tell you if the ball's in the trap.
Sometimes I'm like, where did that end up? I've got astigmatism, and it affects your distance viewing.
Oh,
yeah,
can be fixed by Michelson, but anyway, this is newsworthy because was the Dodgers series on the road. That was the second series of the year, right? They opened in San Diego. They went to the Dodgers, and I think it was the last game of the Dodgers series. We showed the photo of the scoreboard with the lineup, and the Braves were starting 9 guys that had a batting average under 185. Mm-hmm. That's impossible to do in Major League Baseball.
It was not good, and it was Ush was saying how he thinks that a lot of this has to do with all these guys were hitting a slump at the same time, and the numbers were proving that. But for it to all happen at once, it was so disappointing to watch. And now it seems they're on the other side of it. And, the Braves did start at Padres, at Dodgers, and it was a little rough. Yep. Now they're stacking series with some pretty good teams, and the Dodgers are back in Atlanta this weekend. So we'll see what transpires there.
Yeah, Sunday Night Baseball including 2:10 today, Atlanta, Colorado. If the Braves win, they're back to the 500 mark at 15-15. I want to quickly get to this before we get to Four Downs. Richard Hendrix at the top of the hour. The show being brought to you today by our friends at Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. We're about to look at some really bloated stats when it comes to the Yankees, but they did something last night nobody's ever done. If you want to lose some of that bloating in your life, Way to Wellness can help that very easily. Just give Leslie and them a chance by going to their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. There's no contracts. There's no sign-up fees, and your first consultation's free, so you're not out of money before you even find out what they can do for you. And every plan's different. I had a friend text me earlier before the show, hey, I'm interested in Way to Wellness. What can you tell me? I said, I'll call you after the show. I'm going to tell him it worked for me. It will work for you, but your plan will be different than my plan. Everything is designed differently, and you got choices. Injection therapy, meal replacement, whatever you want to do, they can help you. Way to Wellness, aplanforme.com is the website. Aplanforme.com, Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. So the Yankees, for the first time in Major League Baseball history without me there, or at least this year,
oh my goodness,
they hit 3 home runs to start a game. They're the first team ever, I was there for the first time, to start a game, home run, home run, home run. And then last night they did it again. Home run, home run, home run to start the game.
Really?
Back to back to back to start a game. They're the first one in Major League Baseball history to do it twice in one season. So off of that, here are some of the great records of all time that are so rare. And this happened against the Braves this weekend. Forrester brought it up to me. Eugenio Suarez had 4 home runs this weekend. Only the 19th player ever to do that. And they lost the game.
They did lose. Yes. They did lose.
So he had 4 home runs, and they lost.
Yeah.
Do you know the last time it happened in a Braves game, if I'm not mistaken, was Bob Horner, like back in the mid to early 80s, did it for the Braves.
I think I was watching that game
I remember
TBS.
it happening. I can't remember if I was watching it or not, but I remember Horner hitting 4 home runs. And that shows you how uncommon it is that it's been that long since it's even happened in a Braves game.
Before we do 4 down, some other great stats. 20 strikeouts in a game, 20 or more strikeouts in a game has only happened 5 times. Max Scherzer in 2016, Randy Johnson in 2001, Kerry Wood, I was watching that game, Cubs afternoon game at Wrigley Field, 1998. And then Roger Clemens did it twice, a decade apart, 86 and 96. Only 5 times somebody's got 20 strikeouts or more. And I think those are fun games to watch. I know people love the long ball, the home runs.
Yeah.
But I think strikeouts are fun to watch. 10 RBIs in one game. Somebody had 9. It was Nemo over the Mets. Forrester and I were talking about 2 nights ago. 10 RBIs in a game has only happened 16 times in Major League history. Shohei Ohtani did it last year.
Shocker.
Yeah. The game he had 50 home runs, 50 steals in. He also had 16 RBIs. No hitters, which Brown doesn't put a lot of stock in.
Why?
He just...
Again, this is one of the many things I say on this show that gets completely misrepresented of what I say. I say we treat it like man landing on the moon, and it happens like 4 or 5 times a year. I know they're hard to do now. A perfect game is a different story, but we treat no-hitters like it's the greatest thing to ever happen, and literally they happen quite often.
So I've got the number. In the history of Major League Baseball, just throw out a number, how many times you think it has happened in the history of Major League Baseball?
They've been playing Major League Baseball
since
1800s?
Most of the records start 1900.
1900s?
Yeah.
So we're talking 125 years of baseball.
Good math.
Thank you, Jim. I will say 400 times.
400 times.
Yep. I went for a year for 100 years, and then some years it wasn't 4.
I'm going to go 173.
Okay. He's actually closer.
Oh.
326 times.
My point. Thank you. 326 times, and every time it happens, like we stop everything, and my God, he threw a no-hitter. I mean, I'm not saying they're not fun to watch. I just think we overrate them just a little bit.
4 pitchers or group of pitchers threw no-hitters last year. Perfect game.
How many have happened?
So there's 325 no-hitters?
There's 326 no-hitters.
So a perfect game, I would say 34 times.
I'm going to go higher than that. Ooh.
Doesn't happen very often.
56.
24 times.
That's
very
my
rare.
point. Yeah, now perfect game. You got my attention.
Yeah.
That's
hasn't happened since June of 2023.
Yeah.
And that snapped an 11-year. Hitting for the cycle 349 times in Major League Baseball. That seems like it's happened more, in my opinion.
I would agree.
3 home runs in a game, 696 times in a game. 5 players have collected 3 hits in a single inning. There have been 116 immaculate innings, 3 strikeouts on 9 pitches. That's the immaculate inning. So 116 times. So it's harder to get an immaculate inning than a no-hitter.
Yep.
And the only one ever, the rarest feat of all, Fernando Tatis, he's hit 2 grand slams in 1 inning.
That is crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
He holds that record by himself.
Yeah, he'll have that in a while.
Thank you to Yahoo Sports for all of those. 4 Downs today, brought to you by our friends at Bojangles Brownie.
It is bow time. You want to go grab a cookie? Get that Bowberry cookie. They are fantastic. Look at them when Scott shows you that video coming out of the oven. How good do those look? Bowberry cookie available at your local Bojangles. It is bow time.
First down.
All right, chime in behind the glass if you have something to chime in on. Dawn Staley, 3-time national championship women's basketball coach at South Carolina, is getting a statue unveiled today outside of the Alumni Center on the campus of the University of South Carolina. Your question is, EGU first, the next coach in college, anywhere in the country, that gets a statue put up for them.
Well, I'm actually going to stick with the South Carolina trends. When you said this, the first thought that came to mind was Dabo. If he doesn't already have one.
Interesting. Okay.
Oh. Is Dabo's running?
Yeah, he's running
like down the hill.
It's this on a slope, and he's that was perfect. Just to see Lance's reaction, I hope that's the artist render. Could we? Hey, Lance is out today. I know he's not watching. Somebody tell me, is this possible? Could you do an AI artist rendering of a statue of Dabo Swinney running down a hill? And we could fool Lance tomorrow and say, hey, they're going to build Dabo a statue.
Yeah. I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, if you could do that, because Lance's reaction.
I mean, actually,
so
it would be a really good statue.
It would.
If you had other Clemson players behind him running down the hill. I don't want to help you, Clemson athletics, but that'd be a good thing.
If you need some renderings, let us know.
When you walk into your football complex, if it was a...
Don't go with Dabo.
Lance's reaction.
Dabo, what about
I
you?
was thinking Kirby, but I'm actually going to stick in women's basketball and go Gino Auriemma. I mean, that guy has been as good as anybody that's ever done it there. He'll retire soon enough, and they'll build him a statue probably outside of that arena there.
I just don't know. Do we do statues up north for sports figures?
That's a good question. I really don't know. I don't know how many we do down south. I mean, Nick Saban and all those Alabama coaches have one.
Yeah.
Bo Jackson's got one. Cam's got one. Barkley's got one.
I'm gonna go Bruce Pearl. I think they'll put one outside of Neville Arena.
The Pearl
near Charles Barkley's, 2-time Final Four coach and has saved that program. So I'm gonna go Bruce Pearl.
I like it.
I'm going Dion.
Prime time. Where's it gonna be?
Colorado. I mean,
they retire numbers awful quick. You're right.
Yeah, why not?
May get Shador. Forster, you got one? If you don't, it's okay.
I'd go Bruce.
Yeah.
I think Bruce is the answer there.
Okay.
God,
Start the campaign now.
I love it when Forster and I
align.
We don't like Nashville, and we think Bruce gets the next one.
And
Second down.
I got a graphic here from College Football Kings that shows the number of bowl wins all time in college football. The reason why I'm showing you this graphic.
I wonder who's at the top.
Who's at the top?
Yes. Shocking.
Alabama with 40 or more bowl wins. They're in a category by themselves. If I ask this question, though, if anybody ever does, never, but if anybody ever does pass Alabama for all-time bowl wins, which school do you think it'll be? You see the next year, if you're listening to us, of 30 or more bowl wins, Georgia, USC, Texas, Oklahoma, Penn State, Tennessee. The next level, 25 or more bowl wins, Clemson, Florida State, Nebraska, LSU, Ohio State, Georgia Tech, Ole Miss. Brownie, you first on this one. If anybody ever passes Alabama in bowl wins, who is it?
Without looking at the tiers, I might have offhand guessed Ohio State, but they're in that third tier.
I was
That's
thinking the
surprising.
same thing.
So I'll probably go Texas out of that second tier.
I think I'm going to go Georgia. I don't really have a basis for it, but
Well, I mean, all these teams are in bowls all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Georgia.
To your point is that Kirby's there for right now, and if he coaches another 15 years, you expect him to win a lot of bowl games. A lot of those top-tier teams have something in common, other than, say, Georgia Tech or Nebraska recently, Ole Miss at some point. They're just in bowl games a lot. I personally, I don't want to jinx it. I don't think anybody ever breaks the record.
I would kind of agree with you on that.
But if somebody does, I think Texas is the one that I pointed to as well. At a moment in time, maybe Oklahoma would have been a good guess. Let's do third down.
Third down.
Happy birthday to Al Toon.
Oh, the great New York Jet receiver?
Al Toon, which could be misread nowadays if you look at it as AI tune.
Yeah.
Like it'd be a musical tune. But Al Toon was a Jets receiver.
Yeah.
Back when I was a kid. So the question for everyone is, other than your favorite team, can't be somebody on your favorite team, the favorite NFL player you liked when you were a kid.
When I was a kid. Because I was going to say Hines Ward, but I was not a kid for Hines Ward.
Or younger.
I always liked LaDainian Tomlinson.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
he's a good player.
All day, that was him. That was.
I'll tell you, as a kid, the videos, because Sports Illustrated used to send the hard hit videos out, Ronnie Lott was all over them as a San Francisco 49er. But I remember, do you remember the Nigeria Nightmare, Christian Okoye?
I do. I did not like watching him because.
But they couldn't tackle him.
That's right. It was almost like the Eagles' offensive play where they do the tush push.
Yeah.
If it was 4th and 1, you knew he was going to get it. Nobody could stop it.
I kind of liked Christian Okoye back in the day.
Yeah. What about you, E.G.?
Mine was Noshawn Marino. He played at Georgia, and then he played for your Dolphins, Brown.
Eventually.
Noshawn didn't have an amazing NFL career.
It wasn't an amazing career, but I remember that was someone when I was younger, I always wanted to know what Noshawn was up to, because when I was little, we'd go to Georgia games. And I remember I was waving to him, like sitting. My dad had put me like on the hedge, and he came over and like gave me a little fist bump, and I was like, Noshawn Marino. That's going to be my guy.
Forrester, did you have one as a kid that you liked for not your favorite team in the Atlanta Falcons?
Yeah. Well, first I'll say for my team it was Andre Rison, but in general, LT, Lawrence Taylor.
He was fun to watch. For me, it was a guy named Steve Largent.
I was going to say him too.
Yeah.
I love those old Seahawk uniforms.
Yeah, but he was just a receiver that, truthfully, he didn't look like he was a great physical specimen.
Coach on the field.
And I always thought to myself, dang,
if he can do it,
I can do it. If Steve Largent can get open, I can get open. Didn't look like he was that fast. He just got open and caught the ball every time he touched it. So Steve Largent,
hard worker, film room all the time, gym rat.
Brown saying he's white.
Yeah, he's a white possession receiver. I always like Steve Largent too.
Fourth down.
Happy birthday, Kirsten Dunst. Am I saying that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
42 or 3 today, depending on if my website's right. I got it at 42.
She'll take 42.
I don't know if it's her most famous scene, Upside Down Kiss with Spider-Man.
Probably, yeah.
Best on-camera or on-screen kiss all time.
We'll
start with EG.
Don't start with me because I'm not there yet.
EG doesn't know it yet.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm going to go, as a kid, the first one that just kind of registered with me, Kelly McGillis, Tom Cruise. As Take My Breath Away plays in Top Gun, the Shadow Kiss.
Oh, that's really good.
That was, a little 8-year-old Ryan Brown watching that in the theater.
I mean, this may be a good graphic for a little T at some point, our all-time great kisses on screen, but Top Gun to go in it. Better take the Nashville Great American City.
Okay, thank you.
Tyler? Do you ever go see a movie that has a kiss in it? That is between two humans.
I do see a lot of kissing scenes in movies. I'm probably gonna go with the one you named, Kirsten Dunst in Spider-Man 1.
Yeah.
That's a great one, and that was one of the first movies I saw in the theater. So that movie has a lot of nostalgia for me.
He pulls his mask up for the kiss, right? Yeah, hard to kiss.
Be weird if you didn't.
Yeah. Forrester, do you have a great on-camera kiss or on-screen kiss of all time?
I don't. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I mean,
it's okay.
The one that came to mind with Titanic, Jack and Rose.
Oh, Jack and Rose.
I mean, that's kind of.
Jim likes it when they fog up them car windows.
Pay me like your French women. For me, it is up against the wall after getting caught in the rain in The Notebook.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah. Oh, don't dismiss it.
That's Jim's favorite movie of all time.
Sorry, I don't think I've seen it all the way through.
You just need to see that scene.
Oh, okay. I have seen clips. I like Brown says. I've seen clips on TikTok.
Kiss against the wall. My hair just stood up.
Oh, hey, I got one. I got one.
You got one?
Yeah, The Sandlot. The Wendy Peppercorn at the
Wendy Peppercorn.
Good one. That's our 4 downs today, brought to you by our friends at Bojangles.
That Bowberry cookie available right now at Bojangles. It is bow time.
That's exactly right. And don't forget, trivia is back at Odie's tonight. You can go see Brownie and LT and the gang there. Traditional trivia right there at the original location of Odie's. That area of town, Brownie, is called?
That area of town is called Crestwood.
Crestwood, right there.
Yeah.
You can go see
Odie's. Crestline Village, actually.
Crestline Village,
yeah.
thank
Edgewood
you.
for the Homewood location.
Yeah, 2 locations. That Homewood location, open for lunch with those historic burgers there. And don't forget the Diablo sandwich, the great styrofoam cup cocktails that are historic there at Odie's. Go check that out. LT and Brownie there with Will Haver and trivia tonight. When we come back, Richard Hendrix talks basketball with us. He's got maybe a thought on whether Todd Pettiford should stay in the NBA draft or not. Hendrix on the other side on TNR.
Follow LT on Twitter at @TheLanceTaylor.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older, must be present to win.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
The road to the Indy 500 runs through Birmingham, May 2nd through the 4th. The fastest IndyCar drivers in the world, O'Ward, Dixon, and Newgarden will put their skills to the test with one goal in mind: victory. Witness Miss America Abby Stockard give the most iconic command in all of racing as the Grand Marshal. May starts here. The Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix, powered by AmFirst. Tickets are selling fast. Get yours today.
Hey friends, if you're looking to expand your business and inform the Next Round audience about your exciting brand, contact us at sales@nextroundlive.com to be part of the team and advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential consumers on our ever-expanding platform. Let the Next Round help take your business to the next level. Get more information by emailing us at sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to build a plan to take your business to the next level with the Next Round.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Hey, we start this hour off with a little good breaking news. If you're an Alabama basketball fan, Brownie, this gets everyone's attention because he brings some credentials from his previous conference to Alabama.
Well, he's the WAC Freshman of the Year, Keaton Bristow from Tarleton State, after a visit to Tuscaloosa on 24/7 on 3, and Keaton himself confirming that the 6'8" power forward is portaling to Alabama from Tarleton State, the fourth portal pickup for the Crimson Tide. Richard Hendrix is with us now. We get Richard on every time there's a guy coming out of the portal. No, we don't. Richard was on with us anyway. Just happened to break right before he came on. First of all, welcome in, Richard. How are you?
Doing great. And guys, I don't see how y'all didn't catch that Squints' kiss with Wendy Peppercorn. Got to be one of the top kisses on screen of all time. When you take the gamble of risking to drown yourself just to get a kiss on screen, that's got to be top 5 easily.
That is dedication. You're right. That's going the extra mile.
Yeah, so there's Hendrix backing up Forrester's selection there. Absolutely.
Yeah, great movie. I love Sandlot. What a fantastic family movie.
I love it. One of the best of all time, for sure.
There's no doubt. All right, I know you haven't watched a lot of Tarleton State and have watched this kid, but when you get a 6'8" kid, he averaged, I think, 11-4. Interesting pickup for the Tide.
Well, it's funny. You mentioned Tarleton State. Actually, I have to give a shout-out to one of my former Athens High School alum, and Chris Howell, who went to Tarleton State back in the early 2000s when they were a Division II program. Billy Gillespie has been the head coach there. He's had SEC ties. He's coached at Texas A&M and at Kentucky. Their interim coach last year was Joe Jones, who played at Texas A&M as a former player that was around my era. So I've been able to watch Tarleton State, and Alabama now has a guy at 6'8", 190 pounds in Bristow, who can be a player who can get up and down. He can shoot a little bit from the outside, and he fits the mold of what Nate Oates wants to do. So this is a strong program that's been really, really good, and you'll get a player playing from Billy Gillespie that will be a tough-minded basketball player. And in my opinion, that's what Alabama's going to need the most.
I completely discount Hendrix' knowledge of Tarleton State. He responds by spitting facts. I love it.
Hey, listen now. Last year, every time Alabama put a piece of that team together, I remember leaving, going to a commercial break, saying to myself, wow, that guy's a starter. Wow, that guy's a starter. And it got to the point where I was like, man, that's 11 guys that should be a starter on this team. I haven't had the same feel about these, but it looks like Nate Oates is trying to piece together a roster that A, to me, looks bigger, and B, to me, looks like they play better defense. Is that fair?
I would hope to think that would be an area that they would like to shore up. Now, at the same time, that was the major emphasis last season as you talk about the Final Four year where Grant Nelson had to play a lot of the 5 down the stretch. They bolstered up the front line, bringing in Amori, Aiden Sherrill, and they may not have gotten the results that they had, but I think a lot of that had to do with the expectations of the players and the names that were coming back on that team after going to a Final Four. But what I would say to most people, if you're really watching basketball and what you've been able to find out with the transfer portal, is that they are really good players on all levels. And if they get time to develop, then you can see that they can come to the Power 4 teams and make big-time contributions and make winning basketball plays when you need it the most. So I wouldn't get caught up in looking at the stars that the players have in the recruiting cycle, the names that they come from and the accolades that they have, because oftentimes you'll see when you put together a roster of people that they don't know and they're hungry, then you can have a really, really strong team. So this could be something that could be a plus for Alabama.
Richard Hendrix is with us, SEC Network and ESPN. We'll talk about all the SEC with him, or as much as we can get to anyway. But I do want to stick with one more Alabama question for you. Yesterday we played part of the interview where LeBaron Philon leaves the door open, Richard, to coming back to Tuscaloosa. Alabama now 2 spots left after this, basically.
I think so, yes.
Basically 2 spots left, and they would gladly have Philon fill one of those spots. I mean, I've never seen him much, if at all, mentioned as a first-round guy. You've done this. If you're not a first-round guy, I mean, with the NIL money now where it is, the play is to come back to Tuscaloosa, isn't it?
Absolutely, or just open up the portal and go anywhere. I mean, for Alabama fans, you would like to see a guard with experience come back to the roster. But listen, I was a guy that entered the draft early. People might not remember going back to 2008, but I was an early draft entry and was drafted in the second round. And the game has changed tremendously now when you have an opportunity to be in the transfer portal and to ask for more money from these particular schools and to get into this transfer market. Now, that shows you that the transfer portal market does not have the same value as the professional basketball market. And a lot of these players are opting to remain in the collegiate ranks just because they know they can maximize their financial abilities in the college game. So I think it's smart for LeBaron Fallon to keep his options open, to consider to come back to Alabama, because from a financial standpoint, if he doesn't get the information that he wants to see coming out of the pre-draft, then he knows that he'll be able to make more money getting in the portal, potentially coming back to Alabama, or shopping around before they make a decision to put a cap on this thing. So it's the life that we have right now. It's the landscape of college basketball, and I don't blame these college athletes for trying to get as much as they possibly can when they're given it.
Listen, the Field of 68, who I think does a wonderful job covering basketball, and I get their newsletter and watch their podcasts all the time. They've got 10 guys that they think have tough decisions to make about staying in the draft or coming back to college. One of them is Todd Pettiford. You saw him play a lot in your coverage of the SEC this past year. They list him at 6'1". If you had to give him, if you think when he gets to the NBA Combine on May 11th, do you think he'll show up at 6'1" there? And do you think they're saying he's projected as a second-round pick at that stature? Do you think he's a guy that comes back to Auburn?
I think he's in the exact same situation as LeBaron Fallon. I don't think that he's 6'1" from what I've seen from the sidelines of the one game that I had for Auburn this past season. But he's in a tough situation. ESPN had him ranked 39th, ranked as the prospect of the upcoming NBA mock draft. And you don't want to leave early unless you find yourself into a lottery pick situation, particularly when you have money on the table. We saw it in this recent NFL draft where there were several players, Quinn Ewers to name one. If he would have stayed in college, then his bargaining power would have been much better than what he's going to get fighting as a late draft pick for a position on a team that's not going to give you as much guaranteed money. So I think for Todd Pettiford, he has a tough decision to make. But this is just the landscape of college basketball in the professional ranks. And if I'm a fan, I've said it many times here on this show, there's no correlation between a good college player and a good NBA prospect. And you have to understand what you're seeing when you're watching it with your eyes as an analyst. A really good college player can be second round or undrafted. And you'll see in the top 5 picks, they're going to be younger players with supreme level athleticism and positional size. And you have to have the measurables to be a high level NBA draft prospect. If you don't have those, then it's going to be something that's going to have to be really tough for you. You're going to have to be big as far as your statistical output and have some success and just have the it factor where teams see that they can plug and play you onto their roster. At 6'1", I think it's going to be hard for a guy like Pettiford to get into the first round.
Another guy that you saw up close and personal with your work at the American Conference Championship, Yaxel Lindeborg, who was at UAB then. Now he's a Michigan transfer, but he's still in the mix at the NBA. He was the first name they mentioned in this story that they're talking about, and they list him at 6'9", and he's a guy that's projected, they say, at the end of the first round, into the second round. What do you think about Yax's game? Does it have a place in the NBA, or is it another cash grab back to Michigan, in your opinion?
I think he most definitely has a place in the NBA. I think he's a bona fide first-round pick at 6'9". He can rebound. He can score on the outside, score on the inside. UAB's one of their leading assists. Might have led the team in assists as far as facilitating for others, and he can defend as well, as he's been amongst the best defenders in the AAC. So this is a guy that has a tough decision because his asking price in the NIL market will be significant, and he doesn't have to worry about where he's going to fall on draft night. I would say to anyone, everybody looks at the NBA draft and any draft, and you think it's an exciting moment. As a guy who's been drafted, It's the most stressful night you will ever have in your life. You've been playing basketball for 20 years. You've dominated. And all of a sudden, your whole career and job future comes down to a 3-hour show where you're waiting for them to call your name. And one slot, up or down, will change the trajectory of your life. So if I'm Lindeborg or any other player, I'm strongly considering my collegiate commitment, and I'm going to try to max out as much as I possibly can. Because I'm going to tell you, you're playing against lesser players, you're going to get paid more, and you're going to have a little bit more grace if you don't play as well. I mean, who doesn't want that for a job? Anybody wants those type of situations on their job. More money and less work. I mean, that's what you're looking for.
When you look at what Kentucky did, Richard Hendrix with us on the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys Hotline, specifically with Aberdeen and Mo Diabate from Alabama, Aberdeen from Florida, guys that were kind of role players in the positions they were in, but Mark Pope obviously saw what he liked and valued those guys. What kind of role do you see them fitting in that Kentucky offense that you've seen from Pope?
Defense.
Okay.
I don't look at the offense. I think when I looked at the Wildcats all season long, this is a team that can score with any team in the country. But the mentality that they seem to have on the defensive end was lacking. I saw a lot of ball reversals that were easily done on the other teams. Maybe not the level of physicality that they needed on boxing out and pulling rebounds. And now you're going to bring in two of the toughest-minded players in the SEC that have winning basketball experience. Denzel Aberdeen should have been a starter. He would have been a starter on any team, and he essentially was the sixth starter on that Florida National Championship team. He will come in. He can defend multiple positions. He has great positional size, and he has an attitude that he wants to make a difference. And offensively, he's a talented player as well. The same exact thing goes for Mo Diabate. Alabama fans were able to see it for 2 years. He was the guy that can come in the game and settle things down when the game seems out of sorts. He gets the tough 50-50 balls. He can rebound. He can guard all 5 positions if you need him on the collegiate game. And his offense is starting to go to the next level, which will give him more freedom in that 5-out high post Mark Pope offense that they run at Kentucky. So he's going to be in a good situation. I think Mark Pope did a really good job of addressing some areas of need in the offseason, getting some defensive-minded players.
And rebuilding your roster, which you have to do every year now in college basketball. Of all the SEC teams, if I said Auburn has done it better than anybody else, am I wrong?
Well, no, I think if you touch on what I talked about at the top of the hour here, Auburn, if you look at it, and Bruce Pearl has done a magnificent job of identifying really good players that might not have this name recognition that others have. And he's probably doing it again in the portal once again, getting really good players. I mean, he's even gone down to the Division II level and found Chaney Johnson, and he's been able to contribute. He found a really good player in Janai Broome at a low major, mid-major level, and he's been a high-level contributor. So he understands what he needs in his program. He recruits well and doesn't necessarily lean on the name brand McDonald's All-American, Alabama Mr. Basketball types. I don't even know if someone could look if Auburn's ever even had a Mr. Basketball from Alabama. But it's just one of those type things that he does a really good job of identifying the parts that he needs on his team. And maybe he does do that better than others in the conference.
Yeah, I'm interested. I painted you in the corner asking you specifically about Auburn. Who's rebuilt their team really well in your opinion? I mean, Alabama's done a job now. You've mentioned Kentucky. Who else? Is there anybody else top of your head that you've liked?
It's tough to see, and mainly it's because obviously when you look at the fact that you do have different rosters every single year, you always try to look and see how these pieces are going to gel together. We looked at Alabama, and Alabama was the surefire team to win the SEC last year when you looked at that roster being put together in the offseason. But how are you going to gel together when it matters? What type of identity are you going to play with? So I look at some of the teams like Tennessee, for example. I think Rick Barnes has gone up to Maryland. He's got a point guard who's coming from the state of Tennessee, coming back. They're going to always be in the fight just because of the style in which they play. They're going to be physical. They have the Birmingham kid that's coming in. That's a big body. The freshman joining up on the squad in Tennessee. So, he's done a good job of trying to bolster the roster. But the style of play, I think, is going to be the most significant thing. If you look at the Final Four, you look at the top teams that were able to get it done. Houston had a style which smothered teams. Auburn could play two ways. They could slow it down. They could speed it up. Florida, as you know, had a lot of versatility on that roster in which that they've got after you. So the way that teams play, and Duke with their positional size and how they are able to get things done, made it a force. You have to have the mentality of getting your players to defend. That's going to be the main thing that I believe is going to make the difference in the SEC.
All right, before you go, Richard, we haven't talked to you since Texas A&M hired Samford's Bucky McMillan. I know you've watched Bucky coach a little bit at Samford, maybe even back in the Mountain Brook days as well. It's a big jump to go from Samford to an SEC school like that. What are your thoughts on that hire for the Aggies?
Well, happy for Bucky. Obviously, I've known him for a long time, played against him when he was at Birmingham Southern and I was at Alabama my freshman year. But, you're exactly right. I mean, you don't see too often a guy going from coaching high school ball and then 5 years later he's in the SEC at a program that has tons of resources. He did a tremendous job at Samford. He scheduled well. He won big games. He marketed that program really well with his style of basketball that people think is fun to watch. I think that he will do a good job. He'll have to make sure he can get some high-level recruits. I think he's done a good job with his staff. He's hired T.J. Cleveland, who went to Minor here in Birmingham, on his staff to be able to get some players coming from Wichita State. So he's starting to do some things that I think will allow him to make some noise with his style of ball in the SEC. It's similar to what you see with Nate Oates and what Alabama does, trying to be up-tempo, trying to use the analytics and get an advantage here and there. And I think he can be able, with that creative style of play, can make some noise in his first year at Texas A&M.
All right, Hendrix35 is where you follow Richard on social media, at Hendrix35. We'll be seeing him on ESPN and SEC Network talking basketball before you know it again. Richard, thank you very much for the time. Always good to catch up.
Thank y'all for having me.
All right, buddy, take care. Richard Hendrix with us on the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys Hotline. Our guy Alex started the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys 24 years ago in Birmingham, believe it or not.
In Birmingham, he's local.
Birmingham, that's right. Headquartered right here in Birmingham. They've grown to 150 lawyers, supported more than 500 dedicated team members. And in their time here, they've recovered more than $2 billion, maintaining Alexander's core values of integrity, mastery, passion, and success. You find yourself in need of a lawyer, call the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys. You pay nothing unless they win your case. Shunnarah.com. That is Shunnarah.com.
And our friends with the Birmingham Stallions, it's time to pack protective again. Heartbreaking loss this past week, and it had a kick six in it, too.
Did it? I didn't see it. I saw it went to overtime, and they had the overtime shootout.
Kick came up short, and the team the Stallions were playing took it all the way to the house. The Showboats took it all the way to the house.
Did you see the penalty? And I didn't know this was a penalty like this, but in the overtime shootout, it was a roughing the passer, which is an automatic conversion.
That's
if you rough the passer, you just get the point.
That in the overtime. Yeah, only in the overtime.
Wow.
Yeah, so that
tough penalty there.
Yeah, that was a tough penalty. Ended up costing them the game there. But 3-2 Birmingham back at home. This is a Sunday afternoon game. Perfect time to pack protective. Single game tickets available right there on the website. If you go check them out right there. It's a 3 o'clock Sunday afternoon. Old hated San Antonio comes to town. The Brahmas and the Stallions get together. And just like they used to do out west, the Stallions trying to corral the Brahmas. They're trying to get away. Stallions trying to keep them in check. That's what will be happening this weekend. Go check out Coach Holtz, Skip Holtz, and his team. Single game tickets available. Pack protective this Sunday, 3 o'clock with our friends in the Birmingham Stallions. By the way, one more note.
Okay.
Early pick as the team to beat to win the national championship. You ready?
Yep.
See if you've ever heard this before. UConn. University. It's Connecticut.
Men's or women's?
It's men.
Okay, because it could be either one.
It's men.
Yeah, men.
They won UConn 2 in a row. Huh? They made it to what? Was it the Sweet 16 that they lost, or the Field of 32? Wherever they lost this year.
Yeah, Coach was upset on the way off the floor, if I remember correctly.
Don't let them
blink you.
Yeah. Alex Carabin is coming back to UConn. They've got 3 of their top 4 scorers back. They have an unbelievable recruiting class coming in. You'll get a lot of love for Duke again. There's some really good basketball teams out there. Watch UConn. Getting Carabin back, pretty big news there in basketball terms. I mean, if you said SEC or not right now.
I'd go not in basketball.
Because of Duke and UConn?
Yeah.
Probably so.
Yeah, I mean.
And can the SEC be as good this year as they were last year?
So
hard to believe.
Probably not, but still could be good enough to win the national championship like Florida did.
Hard to believe. Just a few days until we start basketball season again. Little thing called college football between here and there. But a basketball recruit happened yesterday. This show does not like Friends except me. I think I'm the only guy on the show that likes the show Friends.
I don't dislike Friends.
Well, when LT's here, it seemed like you are in the anti-Friends category.
Stuff you remember. How do you remember
that? Does it not seem like he's in the anti-Friends category?
Have you ever noticed that?
I see you more as like Friends neutral. I haven't heard you talk a whole lot of love for Friends or hate for Friends.
I'm Friends neutral. I used to watch it. I don't like seek it out now to watch it again. There were very funny moments, but I don't love it, don't hate it.
I don't seek it out, but it's on a lot. I think it's one of those shows that right now is running somewhere in the world as we speak. For a moment there, I felt like that was Law and Order. For a moment there, I thought it was Big Bang Theory.
Andy Griffith's show.
Andy Griffith's show at one point.
Pretty sure all of those are probably running right now as we speak.
As you speak, you can find it somewhere.
But I feel like there's a Friends episode on Nickelodeon or somewhere 24 hours a day.
When Lance says he hates it or has never watched it, I always point out you're one of the few. But I am Friends neutral. Tyler is correct.
Vanderbilt got a basketball recruit.
Okay.
His name, Chandler Bing, which was Chandler's name on the show, Chandler Bing.
Except in that one episode where it was Chandler Bong, right? Or something like that.
Chandler Bing has committed to Vanderbilt. Could I be more excited?
Could I play harder for you, Coach?
Could I wear more clothes?
I'm guessing this is a Friends reference.
Yeah, Chandler Bing would do that a lot.
So he's never watched it. I mean, to be
the voice y'all were doing.
Got to be named after the character, right? Has to be.
Well, your last name was Bing, and at some point you're like.
I'm just saying that wasn't like. I'm trying to do the time here. So how long has it been since Friends was on?
I feel like 2001 was the last. 2000. I'm trying to think where I was in local TV. I was at NBC 13. We were down at the warehouse going away party.
Yeah.
I'm going to say 2004 last episode.
You were correct. May 6, 2004.
Yep. Okay, so that's more than 20 years ago now.
Yep.
Or coming up on 20, whatever. So this, obviously, you named him Chandler Bing knowing that there was a character named Chandler Bing.
Absolutely.
This wasn't some sort of...
Now, if your last name is Bing, you're also a big fan of Sopranos, you could have named the kid Bada.
Oh, Bada Bing. Name him after a women's club.
Hey, I'm Bada. Bada Bing. Nice meeting you. Yeah. Chandler Bing. I don't know a lot of Bings in the world.
Never met a Bing that I'm aware of.
I don't think I have either. But
Chandler
Vandy's got
Bing.
a player. 2 Vandy recruits in the show today. First time ever.
I would have to say that
in our 16-year history together. 16-year history together. Okay, Michelson's viewing menu brought to you by our friends at Michelson Laser Vision.
Yeah,
Browning.
I mentioned them earlier. I've got astigmatism that affects my distance viewing. I went to Michelson and they said, and this is how honest Dr. Jennifer and Mark Michelson are. It was Dr. Jennifer Michelson, Dr. Mark Michelson's daughter. And she said, look, we can fix that 100%. Now, here's what it will do, though. It will affect your up-close vision potentially. I can't promise it won't, so you've got to make that decision. They didn't just say, yeah, let's fix it. Let's schedule the surgery. They let me make that choice. 969-8100. Lance went from darn near legally blind to fighter pilot vision. With his surgery, worked great for him. Not everyone's going to be a candidate, but you may as well get that risk-free consultation like I did to see if you are a candidate. Could help you forever. MichelsonLaserVision.com. Dr. Mark and Jennifer Michelson, a father-daughter combo. They are the pioneers in this field. You could see more at MichelsonLaserVision.com or go ahead and schedule that risk-free consultation. 969-8100. 969-8100 for Michelson Laser Vision.
We got a new Netflix documentary tonight called Turning Point, the Vietnam War. It's a thought-provoking documentary series that examines the harrowing consequences of the Vietnam War from the Gulf of Tonkin incident to the fall of Saigon. I know you're more of a World War II guy.
That is correct. Yeah. Vietnam War stuff, super depressing because, not that World War II wasn't depressing, but I don't know, man. The Vietnam stuff's tough for me to watch.
Can I? And it's a different feel for me.
Yeah, I agree.
And here's why, in my opinion.
I have a theory, too.
I feel like in World War II, we were fighting to save
humanity.
Yeah, freedom, humanity, everything that's right in the world.
In Vietnam, it felt like we were torn as a country and whether we should be there or not, what we were fighting for. Hell, they were writing songs.
Indeed,
what
they
are we
were
fighting for?
Yeah.
There was a lot of movement. What are we doing? There was a clear mission in World War II and in World War I too. But there was a clear mission in World War II. And I'm not sure there's been a really clear mission in any war since then. Well,
and I fear, and there's been a lot written about this. I mean, I'm not the first person to ever say this, that there was that Lyndon B. Johnson kind of wanted us perhaps to stay in that war. He thought he could be the wartime president that got us the victory in Vietnam and be viewed as a hero in history because in his administration, the war turned around and the United States was able to get out of there with a victory. And boy, if that's what kept you there, that's hard to stomach that.
It'll be interesting to see in the documentary if you watch it. I don't know if I will or not because I've seen a couple of them over the years. If it always appears like they had an opportunity to shut it down early on and chose not to, as Brown is saying, which cost hundreds of thousands of lives on both sides after that.
Yeah, but regardless of people's view on it, I hate that the veterans that fought in it were the ones that had to bear the brunt of that.
Not their choice.
They didn't choose to go there.
That's right.
They were sent and they fought valiantly, and many of them did not return home.
So still say thank you to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you do anybody.
That's what sucks about it. You can, it's America, man. If you don't want us to go to war, you get to have that opinion. You get to say whatever you want about that.
Protest if you want
Protest if you want. That's your constitutional right. But taking it out on the veterans, you can go pound sand on that.
Yeah, which happened during that time.
Yeah.
And, I had an uncle that was a helicopter pilot over there and others that served. Just a miserable, miserable war.
Yeah, and I think that it's kind of reflective in the media you see with World War II versus Vietnam.
Yeah.
World War II movies feel more almost like superhero movies.
That's
in
right.
a sense. It's the good guys coming to save the day and beat up the bad guys. And then Vietnam War, if you've ever seen like something like Apocalypse Now, it's just these kids saying, what are we doing
here?
What
it is. It's presented totally differently. You're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
Absolutely. And do you feel, I was thinking about this, and I know you got more, and we're in no rush here, but I wanted to, I was thinking about this the other night because there's like Studio, I'm watching it now. I think it's on Apple TV.
Yep.
Which I'm enjoying, but it is almost shot in a way. It's not set in the 70s, but it's shot in a way like the opening graphics and everything is almost a 70s feel to it. When I was your age, it seemed like everything retro was to the 60s. Do you feel like now it's moved to
90s and early 2000s?
Like 90s? I was gonna say 90s. Like we go back to the 90s. Like we've even moved past the 80s a little bit. But there are some things that I picture is being shot in the 70s and not the 60s anymore, and a little with the 80s. But it does feel like the 90s are starting to show up in pop culture a little bit more.
Definitely. You can see it especially with the amount of filmmakers now that are choosing to only shoot on film, or they'll use the real wide-angle lenses for different sort of videos and stuff like that online.
You want me to tell you something, a cool moment about the Vietnam War Memorial, which is if you're ever in D.C., obviously you must visit. I was explaining it to our youngest daughter. We were up there over spring break, and we don't personally know anyone that is on the wall that I'm aware of, right? So there's, if you've ever been, there's a book where you could search by name and find where exactly the name is on the wall. That's the only way you're ever going to find. There's unfortunately so many names. And my daughter wanted to pick a name and find it. So she picked a name, and then she wanted to find out more about him. So Googled him and all that. And that just shows you, the importance of memorials and stuff like that. I learned a little bit about this guy. He was from Chicago. He was a private. When he was killed, a little bit of his backstory. You saw some of his family. And I never had heard of the guy before that day. It was just my daughter just flipped to a page, closed her eyes, and picked a name, and we found it on the Vietnam Wall. So I just thought that it's cool.
No, that is cool.
Keeps the memory alive of someone like that, someone I never would have met, Don't even know anything about other than that. Sorry, Tyler, go ahead.
Oh, no, you're good. If you want to watch something not quite as heavy tonight, you can go to FXM at 6:35. A great double feature. You got Alien from 1979, and then Aliens right after.
Wow. So when was Aliens? Just recently?
Aliens was 80s, I believe.
That's Sigourney Weaver, right? Is Aliens. Yeah.
Well, she's an alien as well.
Which one was the original?
Alien,
the first one, right? Okay. I enjoyed that one. When it comes out of the stomach.
Oh, yeah.
Not to ruin the ending.
Spoiler alert.
You've seen it by
now.
now.
The middle of the movie. It's not a spoiler.
What year was that? I picture that
1979.
Wow, 79. I would have put mid-80s on that. Okay, 79. Very good.
Then, if you've got Showtime, you can watch one of my favorite horror movies of recent years, Talk to Me. This has also been recommended by Tom Luganbill, and it's a great movie. It's about some kids who find a weird hand that seems to conjure spirits, and they play around with it. And you don't need to know any more than that.
Okie dokie.
Yeah, not a watch for me. That's what Tyler's watching on the Michelson Laser Vision viewing menu there. The show also being brought to you by our friends at the Regions Tradition. We'll be out there coming up mid-May, and the calendar flips to May tomorrow?
It does indeed. Final day of April right now. It is May 14 through 18. See some of golf's greatest names like Ernie Els, John Daly, Stuart Sink. They compete for golf's most prestigious titles. They're on the Champions Tour. 4 days of thrilling shots, unforgettable moments, and world-class golf, all in support of local charities. It's the Regions Tradition, presented by Coca-Cola. RegionsTradition.com. Get your tickets now for the Regions Tradition, presented by Coca-Cola.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Birmingham's fastest party returns to Barber Motorsports Park May 2nd through 4th. Medical Properties Trust presents the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix powered by AmFirst. Experience 3 days of high-speed action featuring the fastest drivers in the world from the IndyCar Series. Enjoy the Kids Zone, food trucks, beer garden, Ferris wheel, fan zone, and more. The Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix powered by AmFirst. Kids 15 and under get in free. Get your tickets now.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
The 15th annual Logan Martin Lake Fest and Boat Show, presented by AmFirst, is May 9th through the 11th on Logan Martin Lake in Pell City. The Logan Martin Lake Fest and Boat Show is totally free to the public. Bama's biggest in-water boat show, 80 boats, lake lifestyle vendors, food trucks, beer garden, and live music all weekend long. There's fireworks on Friday night to honor veterans, a mermaid parade on Saturday, and free mimosas for Mama on Sunday. All by going to LoganMartinLakeFest.com, LoganMartinLakeFest.com.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit UrologyCentersAlabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie-cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
All right, back with you on the next round as we continue on here. No Lance today. He's back with us tomorrow. Dunaway and Brown with you. Tyler, Forster, Milton, Taylor Corn, Emily Grace McWhorter. EG will be back with us for Trash later on. At Next Round Live, go follow there. In just a second, you're going to hear the Kalen DeBoer sort of refuting the rumor that all the skill players were going to leave Alabama if Jalen Milroe came back. He had a chance to give his comments with our buddy Dave Marler out in Seattle, KJR 93.3, known as Softy out there. My buddy Abby Chin used to work with him. I think.
With Softy?
Yeah.
Softy Mailer?
I think it's Marler, but
Mailer?
I may be wrong.
Whatever.
Mailer. Anyway, DeBoer on that in a second. But we asked you guys really quickly when we were talking about Dabo Swinney and statues and 4 downs, to come up with a Dabo, if they ever did a statue of Dabo, him running down the hill. And Matt Jones did a couple of quick AIs, and we've got those for you here. This one, no hat, just in an open field.
He doesn't really have the face, the look on the face that I had in mind there.
No.
That's well done, but
Yeah.
not exactly what I had in mind that
So
we could fool Lance with.
Matt came back with this one, which I think is believable right here.
Fantastic.
That is the look right there.
Yep. It even looks like it's in like some Clemson Hall of Fame type deal, you know.
And by the way, that would be a good-looking statue.
It's not bad, yeah.
Clemson would have no problem with that. That personally is my favorite so far, not to step on Scott Forster's toes, because Forster did a couple. Forster, give me your first one. Now that's
Scott.
Okay,
Scott, that's the winner right there.
That's helped out by the fact that it's inside the stadium.
That's right, yeah.
And he's on a dead sprint.
Yep. Yeah, look at that stance.
No, that's
man.
it. That's 100% it right there. That's the statue. And we'll fool Lance. He will bite this hook, line, and sinker tomorrow.
Yeah. Now go back to Matt's last one. Can you do that real quick?
That's so good.
Now that seems more realistic of him running down the hill. And then you get the players behind him. I sort of like that look.
Yeah, but that wouldn't be part of the statue.
How do you know?
Well, that's in the Hall of Fame. That's in the Clemson Hall of Fame.
How do you know? Now go back to your first one.
I like that one. That's my favorite. I think.
That does not look bad. I'm not saying it looks bad. So, okay. Before you show me your other one, do you like the next one better than this one right here?
I'll let you guys pick that. I probably like the one that's up right now, but yeah, it's pretty good too.
All right. I'm willing to be swayed. That is my winner right now. The one you've got up right now is my winner.
Okay.
Here we go.
Ooh, I don't know now.
That's old Dabo. I mean, that hairline.
Well, he's going to retire at some point.
Dabo's hairline.
Yeah, not wearing the hat is going to.
Do you know what that looks like, Scott? That looks like my electric football player. There were 2 guys always in that position. My electric football vibrating field it was in that position.
Yeah,
it's got a little bit of Ray Perkins in it.
Yeah,
it does have some Ray
Dabo
Perkins
always wears a hat, man. You got to have a hat on.
I think it's the previous one,
so
Scott.
Go back to the previous one.
That's the one I want to try to fool Lance with tomorrow.
Yep. So that's the one.
Yeah,
okay,
that's it.
The one.
We'll use that one tomorrow. We're like, hey, Dabo, news in college football, man. Clemson's going to build a statue for Dabo Swinney.
First segment, okay? Nobody let on.
Nobody let on. And Lance, I mean, he will bite this and when we show up, my. And Jim, you'll have to play it up like, the one thing they wanted to honor is him running down the hill.
You've always hated it.
Yeah, but there's going to be a statue.
That's what is. Yep. Okay, and the betting odds right now are minus 250. He cusses.
This is the hokiest piece of.
Oh, you got it.
That's the way it'll start. Yeah.
All right. Show being brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill. We're going to hear the Kalen DeBoer soundbite, which I've found fascinating. Our friends at Hemp Hill, heating and cooling, they'll take care of you. They're doing a big check right now to help you with not just your air conditioning, but to make sure it's ready to run during the heat of summer. Get those details and how they can help you by contacting them at 205-229-2090 or just Google the name Hemp Hill Services. It's the name Birmingham has trusted since the 1950s. Whether you experience plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or your business, big business, they can do that as well. They're ready to serve you with our great friends there at Hemp Hill. All right, leading into the draft, NFL, there was an NFL report on, I believe it was NFL.com had one of the stories, or at least they posted it from another reporter, that said that if Jalen Milroe had returned to, actually may have been a New York Times article now that I think about it.
No, this is Tom Pelissero.
Of CBS.
That's NFL Network. Tom Pelissero of NFL Network.
Full circle.
Full circle. He was the one that reported
if Milroe came back.
He was the one that it was in the same report where they said it's the best running quarterback we have ever seen in the draft, basically. And then also said this about what you're about to say.
And they got picked up by everybody, all the people I named, NFL.com, New York Times, and they got it in Seattle too. And they brought this up after Milroe was drafted by the Seattle Seahawks, and Dave Marler and Dick Fain do radio on KJR 93.3 out there in Seattle, and they're good friends with Kalen DeBoer. They have Kalen DeBoer on still frequently, even though he's the coach at Alabama, not at Washington anymore. So the fact that somebody anonymously was saying that if Jalen Milroe had returned to Alabama, all the skill players, specifically the receivers, were going to hit the portal. Ryan Willams being thought to be one of those guys. So the guys, Softy and the guys, asked Kalen DeBoer about that rumor.
There was a report out from an anonymous scout, I think it was, a lot of anonymous quotes this time of the year, Kalen, as you know, that said that if Jalen Milroe had gone back to Alabama, they heard a lot of skill players would have transferred. You stuck with him last year, and I'm wondering, would you have sensed that would have been a problem if he would have come back to be your quarterback again next year inside that locker room?
Well, I mean, I think I heard that same quote, and I think the word all was used. And so whenever absolutes are used like that, I kind of question it right there. Like the words never and always, and all. I mean, I think that's a little far-fetched. I don't think we would have lost all of our receivers for anything. But I will also say that there were guys that left. We had 6 receivers transfer out just on this last year's team already, and there's reasons for that, So who you're hearing that from or what's happening, I don't know. That's really not a concern of mine. And I know that Jalen is a guy that really works hard to unite people. And so from a personality standpoint, I don't really question that. And, just from a continuity, I mean, year 1 to year 2, the guy you're going to see, he can throw the ball.
Okay, now, Brownie, I see this look in your face. Here are the notes I took on that answer.
That's the first time I heard it, okay? Yeah. I want to see if your notes match my thoughts.
When it's all never and always, I always question it. But to say all of our receivers would have left is an overstatement. But that makes it sound like if Jalen Milroe had come back, somebody was going to leave. Not all of them, but somebody was going to leave is the way I heard that.
He did not completely put the fire out, did he?
No.
With that answer. I mean, I think Kalen was pretty honest in that answer, honestly. And, I mean, if I'm just listening in Seattle, all right, now I don't know anything about Alabama football. I don't know who Ryan Willams is or Jeremy Bernard is or any of those guys. I would have listened to that answer and thought, it sounded like some of the receivers were going to leave if Jalen Milroe came back.
Well, he makes a point. 6 wide receivers did leave.
And said, and there are reasons for that.
Yeah.
And didn't say that those reasons aren't Jalen Milroe.
Yeah, it could be.
But he didn't say they were, but he didn't say they weren't either.
Could have been quarterback.
Right.
Could have been system. Could have been, hey, they weren't good enough. We asked them to leave. We needed to make room for more people. Wasn't getting enough playing time. Could be a variety. We wanted more money. Not going to pay that guy that much money. Could be a variety of reasons.
Yeah.
But the fact that he said all of our receivers were going to leave is an overstatement. I think is the word he used. Or far-fetched. Far-fetched is the word he used. Far-fetched.
Can we hear it again?
Yeah.
I kind of like to hear it again, Tyler, because I want to listen to it with a more discerning ear a second time because I wasn't expecting the answer I got. I was a little taken aback.
Just that one little part where he says, "No, far-fetched to say all of our receivers are going to leave." To me, that says, well, at least one of them was going to leave if Jalen Milroe came back. Listen again.
There's a report out from an anonymous scout, I think it was. A lot of anonymous quotes this time of the year, Kalen, as you know, that said that if Jalen Milroe had gone back to Alabama, they heard a lot of skill players would have transferred. You stuck with him last year, and I'm wondering, would you have sensed that would have been a problem if he would have come back to be your quarterback again next year inside that locker room?
Well, I mean, I think I heard that same quote, and I think the word "all" was used, and so whenever absolutes are used like that, I kind of question it right there, like the words "never" and "always," and "all." I mean, I think that's a little far-fetched. I don't think we would have lost all of our receivers for anything, but I will also say that there were guys that left. We had 6 receivers transfer out just on this last year's team already, and there's reasons for that, So who you're hearing that from or what's happening, I don't know. That's really not a concern of mine. And I know that Jalen is a guy that really works hard to unite people. And so from a personality standpoint, I don't really question that. And, just from a continuity, year 1 to year 2, the guy you're going to see, he can throw the ball.
I don't know. I listened to it a second time, and I kind of got the same feeling I got the first time. So
now people are going to overreact and say it would have been Ryan Willams because he's the highest profile receiver, and the guy that relies on the quarterback. That's people are going to do that. They're going to go 1 + 1 = 2. That's not necessarily the case.
But a lot of people also saw some visible frustration from Jeremy Bernard and maybe even Ryan Willams too. Actually, Ryan Willams too in the Michigan game.
Yeah,
and that's
where he just stopped and went.
Yeah. And I think Bernard one time just threw his hands up like, "Man, I am wide freaking open over the middle."
Yeah.
So. People are bringing that back up in the chat room that there was visible frustration there. So, I don't know. It was far from Kalen DeBoer, and I'm not saying he had to do this, but Kalen DeBoer, had he answered that question like, "Look, stop it. Nobody was leaving because these guys loved Jalen Milroe. They would have gone to war for him. They would have played for him another year gladly." He did not say that.
No.
Right?
Which is the normal coach's answer in that situation.
To Seattle, where this guy's about to play as a pro. That's why this interview is being done. They know Kalen DeBoer, obviously, but, Seattle just drafted Jalen Milroe, so what's the natural thing to do? Ask his old coach, what are we getting out of him, right?
If you wonder about Alabama losing 6 wide receivers to the portal, that is true. And you're probably saying, hey, Jim, didn't you and Brown say just the other day Alabama didn't lose any scholarship guys in the spring portal? That was a spring portal.
Yeah.
We'll give you some portal numbers all combined, fall and spring, so for this entire off season, which sets the table what's coming up, and blue chip commitments, which are the important ones out of the portal during the cycle. Right after we tell you about a couple of our great sponsors, one of them, Brownie, is our friends at Bojangles.
That is right, Jimmy D. It can be bow time for you at lunch with those Bow Bites, that great hand-breaded chicken that you get right there at Bojangles. Bite-sized, fried to crispy perfection, perfect for sharing, snacking, or when you're on the go. Just don't call it a nugget. The only hard part, choosing from the 6 dipping sauces, one for every craving, from the creamy house-made ranch to the sweet and spicy peach honey pepper sauce. It all depends on what kind of mood you're in. Head to your nearest Bojangles today. Discover the dippable, shareable, craveable Bow Bites. It's bow time.
And our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Guys, stay on top of your health today by finding one of the great locations near you. 16
locations in Central Alabama. Urology Centers of Alabama, 205-930-0920, 930-0920, Urology Centers, Alabama.com. Prostate health to kidney stones, everything in between, vasectomies when you get to that point in your life, if you choose to do that, they can handle all of that. Find out what they can do for you. But basically, if you're moving from your 20s to your 30s, 30s to 40s, 40s to 50s, early detection can save your life. Find a place that you can call home, like Urology Centers of Alabama, and just get on a regular schedule there, urologycentersalabama.com. All right, most players in the transfer portal, from our friend Vern Funquist here, ESPN Radio 104.5. He has a graphic for us, and these are the most players lost in the 2025 transfer portal in the SEC. Arkansas lost 38 players.
That's a lot. Holy, they kept their coach. By
Oklahoma lost 37. Now listen, doesn't talked about enough. Sometimes you're asked to leave.
Yeah, but it's not 37 times that you're asked to leave.
Yeah, 38 for Arkansas, 37 for Oklahoma.
But you're right. Some of those are like, we don't have a spot for you anymore.
34 for Mississippi State, Kentucky at 30. Ole Miss at 28, Auburn at 25. There's Alabama with A&M and Missouri at 24. LSU at 23, Tennessee and South Carolina at 22, Florida and Vandy at 19, Georgia at 18, Texas at 16. You look at Georgia and Texas, they have the best rosters right now. They lost the fewest players. Georgia losing 6 less than Alabama, 8 less was Texas there. So middle of the pack. As far as coming out of the portal and being blue chip guys that committed to different college football programs, these are the teams here, the next graphic, that sort of shows you who did well in the portal, the most blue chip pickup portal teams.
So these are guys that were blue chips when they came in?
Yeah, that they got out of the portal.
Okay.
Blue chips are considered to be high 4-star and 5-star guys.
All right, when they were recruited. Gotcha.
Yeah. Texas Tech got 13 of them.
Yeah, our guy's spinning out there. I can't wait to see how this turns out.
Then 2 SEC teams. Everybody loves what LSU has done in the portal.
Mm-hmm.
Not as much buzz about what Ole Miss has done in the portal, but they got 10. Miami, Florida State. I keep talking about Florida State's rebuild. That's Alabama's first opponent. Oregon, North Carolina with Belichick. Kentucky got 7. Wisconsin got 7. Missouri got 7. I'll ask a question after we talk to Andy Staples on win totals in the SEC. Which team do you think has the biggest increase? Which team has the biggest fall off? We'll do that after we talk to Andy Staples coming up in the next segment. But that's the portal news today. New York Butcher Shop brings you the show. Andy Staples in his post-spring top 25 conversation on the other side of our friends at New York Butcher.
2 great locations in the Birmingham area, Greystone and Cahaba Heights. nybutcher.com. That is nybutcher.com. Go let Jim and his great staff prepare for that perfect meal for you. All you got to do is put it on the grill and not mess it up from there. The great Duroc pork chops I like. The wonderful chicken, but steaks, man, they have got tons of options. And they are just through the roof good. You can see more at Greystone and Cahaba Heights. nybutcher.com. That is nybutcher.com. New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well done service.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Dunaway.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Hey, you. Days warming up. Looking like spring. And at New Balance Birmingham, we've got the thing. What pops and what's fresh? Check the selects. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham. We got now.
Since you listened to my last message so well and got rid of those cargo shorts and stained t-shirts, it's time to replace them with Rhoback. Go to Rhoback.com and click on the Refresh collection to find all that you need for an EG-approved wardrobe. It includes pieces that will have you ready to hit the golf course after a busy day of meetings or comfy favorites for travel and working from home. Get 20% off using code TNR20. See, I'm saving you some money.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
The road to the Indy 500 runs through Birmingham, May 2nd through the 4th. The fastest IndyCar drivers in the world, O'Ward, Dixon, and Newgarden will put their skills to the test with one goal in mind: victory. Witness Miss America Abby Stockard give the most iconic command in all of racing as the Grand Marshal. May starts here. The Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix, powered by AmFirst. Tickets are selling fast. Get yours today.
Do you need some refreshed college wear to represent your team this year? Shop Roback's Game Day collection that includes both Alabama and Auburn. From quarter zips to hoodies, Roback has it all. Get 20% off on us using code TNR20 at roback.com.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
If you're looking to expand business and inform the Next Round audience about your exciting brand, contact us. Send an email to sales@nextroundlive.com to be a part of the team and advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential customers on our ever-expanding platform. Join our existing partners in the fastest-growing media space, both live and on demand, and reach the most desirable audience for your business. Get information and more by emailing sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to take your business to the next level with the Next Round.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that quality legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Hey, back with you now, final hour of the show. LT back with us tomorrow. Brown and Dunaway and Brown, as we used to be known on AM 690 for years and years. We're about to talk to Andy Staples. This hour always brought to you by the wonderful folks at Champy's Chicken. For over a decade, same location on Highway 119. There are Champy's Chickens all over Chattanooga, northern Alabama and stuff, but the one that Sterling has curated down there with a great atmosphere, bar, the memorabilia on the walls there, his attention to detail, the chicken brined overnight. I tell you all the time, if you got some damn Yankees coming to town, you want to give them good southern lunch or dinner, take them to Champy's Chicken. The chicken's brined overnight, is cooked to order, juicy to the bone, the hand-cut chicken fingers. My favorite appetizer, the Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. The Mississippi Delta recipe gives you a little heat, got a little spice to them. The best tamales, the rest of them are garbage to me. That's the best kind. The Mississippi Delta tamales are the best tamales. It's all right there at Champy's Chicken, champyschicken.com, Highway 119 in Alabaster.
You see Andy Staples is on 3, the Andy Staples Show. He and Ari Wasserman do a video show there daily, just like us at On 3, talking a lot of college football. He's got his top 25 out, post spring, post portal, post coach moves, post everything, I guess. What is up, Andy? How are you, man?
It is a lot of those things. I guess it's post coach's girlfriend's melting down, although I don't think I was going to have North Carolina in there anyway, but now I'm glad I left him out. God.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, listen, I don't want to get too deep in the weeds here, but I lived through a post-spring coaching change at Alabama once. Now, the situation was totally different.
Well,
but
there were some characteristics that were the same.
There was a panhandle strip club involved, I believe.
Yes, there was.
Right.
Yes, absolutely.
And Mike Price does not have Bill Belichick's resume, but is there any scenario here that at any point North Carolina's money people get fed up with this storyline that's out there?
Like, do you believe it was
change coaches?
Like, do you still believe a lot of the Price stuff was driven not necessarily by the stripper story, but by people still thought it was a mistake and this was the easy way to undo the mistake?
Yeah, I don't think it was 100% that they wanted Mike Price in Tuscaloosa, and some of the money people use this as an opportunity to do a change.
I think the money people drove the Belichick thing, because I think the Bubba Cunningham, their athletic director, wanted to make a more traditional hire. And I think, he was hoping that maybe they could get John Sumrall from Tulane or somebody like that. And I think the people with the money got very excited at the possibility of getting Bill Belichick, because at that point we didn't realize how serious he was about coaching college football, but he was casting lures out there with people who had jobs open and had made it very clear, hey, I'll take this. I want to do this. So, I think those are the guys who got really excited. And so I don't know that they would be ready to pull any ripcords quite yet, but it is so weird. Now, the thing about it is, if he's good, I don't think any of this really matters. I think this is kind of off-season circus, doesn't really affect anything. And you notice, we haven't heard anything about the actual football. They did a very thorough job of making sure nobody knows anything about that actual team. So I don't know where this goes, but it gets weirder and weirder every day. And it's not what you expect from a guy. Bill Belichick controlled every aspect of the media exposure for the Patriots for the longest time. There were parts of it with Tom Brady, I think, that he couldn't control there at the end. But it wasn't like this. I mean, this is a circus, and it's very strange. Now, highly entertaining, but very strange.
You've got your post-spring top 25 out at On 3. Andy Staples with us on the Shunnarah hotline, the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys hotline. I'm going to start in a weird place. Normally, you start with your local team. You start with number one. I'm going to start in a strange place with you, because we just discussed, Jim was showing the graphics of teams that had the most blue chips out of the portal. We were discussing Heisman Trophy yesterday. Jim dropped I did not realize it had changed this way, that Garrett Nussmeier was the odds-on, well, not the odds-on favorite.
He was in the mix with Arch Manning as a betting favorite.
As a favorite. Yeah, you got LSU 15. Did you not see any of this stuff? Did you not know they killed it in the portal and that Garrett Nussmeier is apparently Heisman Trophy good?
Oh, no, I know they killed it in the portal, and I know that Garrett Nussmeier is good. And if he develops in year two the way some of these last LSU quarterbacks have developed between year one and year two of their starting tenures, then he's going to win the Heisman, because that's what the last two did. But I also think that they are probably, about in line with some of these other teams in the SEC. That they lost to Florida last year. Are they significantly better now than they were last year? I don't know. They lost a first-round offensive tackle. They lost another offensive tackle in Emory Jones. They did do more in the portal this year than they did last year, but here's the thing, when you're getting guys out of the portal, and so when you're trying to move from being mediocre to pretty good, you can go in the portal and really do that. When you're trying to move from being pretty good to national title contender caliber, I don't know that what you need is necessarily available in the portal if you have a lot that you need. And LSU had to get starters on the offensive line, starters in the secondary out of the portal. You need freaks. You need guys that are going to go to the NFL after 3 years, not guys that are still in college after 3 and 4 years. So that's the question I have, is they have gotten some really good college players out of the portal, but they're going to play against 3-and-out NFL guys in the SEC that may just be better. They're going to play against 3-and-out in the NFL guys at Clemson in that first game. That's the part. They've got to be better than those teams if they're going to win a national title. And so are they more talented than those teams right now? I don't know. They're going to rebuild the offensive line. They need to show us that they can run the ball. I don't know that that's necessarily a knock on their talent. I think that if you watch last year, a lot of the, in terms of the play calling, they would abandon the run when they didn't need to. Go back to that Florida game. they're actually running the ball fairly well in the second half, and they just stop. And it may have cost them the game. So that's the part I need to see. And I will tell you, though, guys, I can see a path. Like, I understand when people say, I just talked to one of my coworkers who said, I think LSU's my dark horse national championship pick. And, like, I get the path. And there's certain things I really like. Like, they've got a freshman named DJ Pickett from Zephyr Hills, Florida. He's a freak 6'4" cornerback.
Wow.
Like, that's the type of thing LSU used to have a bunch of. LSU used to have a bunch of freaks coming in every year who were going to be at LSU for 3 years and go to the NFL. And when they won national championships, it's because their rosters were loaded with those. They've not been loaded with those of late. So that's my question, is how many of those are there? Because if they've got more of those, then they got a shot.
Bad to good Auburn, and you've got them in the really good category, 13th in your preseason ranking here. Is it because Hugh has sort of done it hybrid? He's done it really good in high school recruiting and some good key portal pickups?
That's a piece of it, but also just looking at last year, I mean, slightly better quarterback play, and you're probably talking about an 8-4 team,
right,
rather than a 5-7 team. Auburn offensive lines have not been particularly great in the last decade or so. The one last year wasn't bad, and then they went in and went to the portal and not necessarily grabbed guys that they said you're guaranteed to start. They grabbed guys who were starter quality who were going to have to come in and fight for jobs. So they created some competition there. They go out and get Jackson Arnold, and they go out and get Ashton Bailey. They sign Deuce Knight. So they have competition in the quarterback room that should theoretically produce a better starter. We were assuming Jackson Arnold here. And look, if we're talking about Jackson Arnold, it was a Murphy's Law situation for him at Oklahoma last year. Everything that could have gone wrong did. Like, the offensive line was not very good. Their top 5 receivers were out most of the season. So if you're Jackson Arnold, you're looking at a pretty good offensive line coming back. You're looking at Cam Coleman on the outside. Eric Singleton Jr. comes over from Georgia Tech, and you're going to play Where's Waldo with him. Like, I get pretty excited about what they could be, because those games that were kind of one-possession games last year, they may flip to Auburn this year. And all of a sudden, that's not just a team that goes to a bowl game. That's a team that wins a bunch of games.
They also have Keldrick Falk, which could be Auburn's first-round draft pick in a little while. One of the best pass rushers in the game. I mean, that's a guy that he can change the game for DJ Durkin.
Exactly. I mean, that's the thing. Auburn brings back a lot of talent, and like you guys said, they're doing it in both ways. When they have a need, and like the Singleton thing is a great pickup in the portal, because if you look at Georgia Tech last year, they didn't have anybody like Cam Coleman to distract from Singleton. So defenses kind of had to key on him, and he still made plays. Like, watch that Georgia game. He was making plays. But I think his capability gets more unlocked when there's another receiver that you've got to worry about out there. But like you said, you have Falk rushing the quarterback. You've got NFL players all over that defense. And I look at them last year, and yes, the record sucked, but we all know why it sucked. And we know how close a lot of those games were. If you just flip the results of some of those tight ones, you're a much better team. Like, the record is much better, not just a little better.
Andy Staples is with us at Andy_Staples. He is on the Shunnarah hotline. That's where you follow him on social media, at Andy_Staples. On 3 Sports, he and Ari do the show all the time right there. You can see it at On 3 Sports on their YouTube page as well. Do everything for them we ask you to do for us. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe, set your alerts so you know when they're live. How would you characterize basically the John Mateer, Jackson Arnold transition there? Is it big downgrade, obvious downgrade, not downgrade, upgrade? I mean, how would you do that for Oklahoma? You just talked about Jackson Arnold for Auburn. John Mateer comes to Oklahoma. How do you characterize that move?
Well, I think John Mateer was the best quarterback in the portal.
Yeah.
I think he has a chance to be one of the best QBs in the country. So now, as far as the John Mateer, Jackson Arnold thing, I don't even look at it as, because yes, Jackson Arnold came from Oklahoma, but that deal was set up. They brought Ben Arbuckle from Washington State as the offensive coordinator. He was bringing John Mateer. That was part of the deal. So it's not like there was an option where Jackson Arnold stays at Oklahoma and wins the starting job. Like, they hired Ben Arbuckle because part of hiring Ben Arbuckle is you get John Mateer. So it's one of those where Jackson kind of got, caught in the wash there. But if you watched Washington State play last year, you're like, oh, well, I get it. Because John Mateer replaces Cam Ward, looks as good, maybe better than Cam Ward did as Washington State's quarterback. Now, I realize that it's not quite the same competition that they were playing in the Pac-12, but like when they played Texas Tech last year, John Mateer lit them up. And he's the type of guy that can make plays within the structure of your offense, but also keep plays alive. And he, in terms of, like, if you're comparing him and Cam Ward, who were playing the same offense, back-to-back years, you're going to do more direct QB runs with John Mateer than you will with Cam Ward. And so I think Oklahoma has an opportunity to be much better offensively. Now, the offensive line should be better. They had a weird situation where they essentially punted on the 21 and 22 classes on the offensive line. And so they had some decent players that were younger that they'd brought in, but probably weren't quite ready yet. I think they're going to be better on the offensive line this year. We'll see about receiver, because obviously they had the horrible luck. The bad luck has continued because they get this guy, Giovanni Gibson from Arkansas Pine Bluff. He's lighting it up at spring practice. They think he's going to be a great receiver for them. Breaks his leg. Now they think that he may be able to come back and play some this season. But just continually having horrible luck at receiver. And, oh, by the way, I don't know if you guys have seen this. Like, if you look at Oklahoma's schedule, the last 7 games of Oklahoma's schedule looks like the hardest 7-game stretch I think I've ever seen in my life. It's going to be brutal. Yeah. So they're going to have to be significantly better offensively to be better this year.
For those that haven't looked at it, after they play Kent State, Andy is not including that game, they play the Red River game at the Cotton Bowl. They're at South Carolina. They host Ole Miss. They're at Tennessee. They get a probably much-needed bye. They're at Alabama. They host Missouri, and they host LSU.
That's right.
That is a gauntlet to finish.
Missouri's the break.
Awful.
Missouri's the break in that schedule.
Thank God we got Missouri.
Right, and Missouri won 10 games.
Yeah, I know exactly.
Yeah. Hey, and truthfully, Oklahoma.
Or 9 games.
Oklahoma was a tough schedule last year. It was just that Florida's schedule was so outrageously tough that we didn't talk enough about Oklahoma's being tough. But it was a tough slate.
Exactly.
Last year.
They both are playing basically the same. The difference is Oklahoma adds Michigan this year, and Florida has to play Miami. But they took UCF off the schedule, I guess, and Ole Miss might not be as good. That's pretty much it. Like
that's the only difference.
It's amazing how it shakes out, because the SEC schedule is definitely not created equal.
Yeah, and Georgia gets all theirs at home this year as we get ready for SEC Media Days in Atlanta coming up in just a few weeks, and we're only 116 days away from week 0. Andy, I'm old. But I remember when I was a kid reading Kirk Bowles' stuff out in Texas, and he wrote this morning that I'm sure he said around back in the day. I don't know if Kirk drinks or not, but I'm sure he was around big drinking, bourbon drinking, cigar smoking Texas boosters who used to brag about how much money they paid for players. Now it's legal, and he writes today that Texas's roster this year is going to cost them between $35 and $40 million. I'm not blaming On3 Sports like some people in college sports like to do, but it looks like the price has almost gone up 30%, 40%, 50% to do a roster from last year's Ohio State roster, which we all went crazy over.
Well, we knew that was going to happen, because when the House settlement gets approved, the House versus the NCAA settlement, when that gets approved, the schools are going to be able to pay, and they can pay up to $20.5 million a year. And we all know they're going to pay more than that. Ones that want to win the national title are going to pay more than that. But remember, schools like Iowa State, schools like Wake Forest could barely pay anything last year. This year they can pay, $20.5 million for your whole athletic department. Usually 75% of that's going to go to football. So if you can suddenly pay $12 or $13 million, where last year you could only pay 2 or 3, guess what? That drives everybody else's prices up. So the Ohio States and the Texases and the Oregons have to pay more as well. So yeah, there's it's a bubble, this year. It's a much higher number this year. I don't suspect it's going to continue doing that because this is a kind of radical shift that was planned for this year. And yeah, it has created some definite sticker shock in the transfer portal because there's so much more money in the system that it's got to go somewhere.
Before you go, Andy, James Franklin has always struck me as a touch thin-skinned. We saw it after the Ohio State game, and I understand that was an emotionally charged game there. But man, a spring game is anything but emotionally charged. And I don't know what was said. Maybe it was warranted. I don't know. But man, this is not the first time this guy has gone after a fan. And to do it at a spring game, Andy, just seems to make it an even worse look than it normally would be.
Yeah, you got to let some of that stuff go. Like it's just not productive because it's strange because these guys should be pretty happy. Like the fans should be pretty happy with Franklin. Franklin should be pretty happy with his situation.
Yeah.
I look at where Penn State is, and everybody's gonna have flaws in this era. Like it's gonna be really hard to stack a team the way Ohio State was stacked last year, the way the Georgia teams were stacked the last few years. And Penn State, if you look at them, their one glaring weakness was wide receiver. They seem to be addressing that in the transfer portal. They just got a commitment from Trevor Pena from Syracuse this past weekend, who is a really productive slot receiver, to go with Kyron Hudson, who they got from USC, and Devontae Ross, who was the number one receiver at Troy last year. So, like, I'm not sure what everybody's mad about at Penn State. That's the part I don't get. Like, what are we even arguing about at this point?
I mean, it's the most sustained success they've had since, vintage Paterno.
That's right.
And yeah, it's like everybody's on edge,
and you're coming off your best year.
You got a good defense, you got a good offensive line, good running backs. Your quarterback is all the NFL scouts think he's the best thing since sliced bread. Everybody should be singing Kumbaya right now.
It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. I get the feeling Andy is not in love with Drew Aller right there when he says all the NFL scouts says.
Yeah.
No, he's perfect from a measurable standpoint. He's what you create in a lab.
Right.
But the production hasn't matched that.
I agree with you.
I think he would admit that himself. Now, it may be that he hasn't had the receiver talent around him. Obviously, Tyler Warren was great, but Tyler Warren was the only one anybody was worried about last year. If let's say there's 3 or 4 guys that suddenly you got to worry about him throwing the ball to, it may open up what he can do too. So I don't know. But the last we saw him was throwing a really bad interception when they had a chance to go win the game against Notre Dame and play for the national title.
At Andy_Staples on 3 Sports. Go watch ENRA every morning talking college football. They do a great job with it as always. Thank you very much for the time, Andy. Always wonderful catching up.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, buddy. Take care. Andy Staples with us on the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys Hotline on 3 Sports at Andy_Staples. He mentioned Tyler Warren. He was caught up in that prank call deal. It has now been reported by Adam Schefter. Abdul Carter was as well.
So too was Kyle McCord.
Kyle McCord. Abdul Carter, though, was, what was he, the 4th pick by the Giants?
Number
I think it was
3 pick.
He got a call that pretended to be Jaguars front office at the number 2 pick after the Jags had made the trade before they took Travis Hunter there. The Falcons today fined $250,000 by the NFL, and Jeff Ulbrich personally fined $100,000.
Yeah, so the organization gets $250,000. The defensive coordinator whose son looked at the iPad gets $100,000 out of his pocket.
That's right. I cannot imagine going home to my dad having just cost him $100,000 by my stupid actions.
Yep. Right before he's already paid for me likely to go on a summer trip with my frat boys who we laughed at.
That's right.
To go down to 30A.
Like if you broke a window, your dad made you work it off or something like that, right? What does your dad make you do for $100,000? That's a little more than a broken window.
Absolutely. That's bad news there. The show being brought to you by a couple of our great sponsors. One of them is our friends at New Life Art. We were just talking about some college football there, and our friends at New Life Art, they will remind you of the great moments of college football. Daniel A. Moore is a legend around the sports world. He's painted a lot of great works, not just for Alabama. You can see everything at danielmooreart.com, danielmooreart.com, promo code TNR. That includes the legend
Nick Saban, 6 national championships. You can go there and check that out. DanielMooreArt.com. And our friends at Michelson.
Michelson Laser Vision, Drs. Mark and Jennifer Michelson. It is a father-daughter team that are pioneers in the LASIK surgery field. If you have trouble with your distance vision and you just feel like your distance and up-close vision isn't what it should be, go get a risk-free consultation with the Michelsons there at Michelson Laser Vision and see if they can help you the way they help Lance. It could change your life to get that vision back to where maybe it once was or where you always wanted it to be. MichelsonLaserVision.com for all your information. Or 969-8100. MichelsonLaserVision.com, 969-8100.
All right, so I asked Brown to do this. We do it every year. You take the SEC standings, don't count bowl or playoffs, at the end of the regular season, win total, so 12 games that are on your schedule when the season starts, and then tell me a team that you think improves the win total the most and the team that decreases the win total the most. Give me your high end and your low end, and we'll discuss some other ones as well. This, of course, our Hemp Hill hot or cold question of the day. No. Let's
make it the spotlight?
Let's make it the Shunnarah spotlight.
We can do that,
Tyler. Let's make it the Shunnarah spotlight here. We'll do the
Alex
spotlight.
will love that.
Yeah, he likes hot and cold stuff here.
Yes, he does.
Guilty or not guilty. Here we go. The Shunnarah spotlight.
The College Football Spotlight.
Yeah, Alexander Shunnarah, trial attorneys based right here in Birmingham. They've recovered more than $2 billion over their 24 years working here. They now not only handle any personal injury claim, but also claims for fire and storm damage, bad drug and device claims, disability, workers' compensation, and a host of other claims. If you find yourself in need of a lawyer, Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys, you pay nothing unless they win your case. Shunnarah.com. That is Shunnarah.com for our guy, Alexander Shunnarah.
All right, so win total increase, the best team to increase their win total and the team that drops their win total. I've got 2 that ended up being the same number. I did every team in the SEC.
Okay.
I got 2 that are the same number. I'll let you go first on the biggest increase because I think we've got one the same, and I'll go the other.
Okay, so I'll go biggest increase first?
Biggest increase first in win totals. Who is it for you?
I am going to roll the dice, and it's not a massive increase, but keep in mind, most of these are going to be 2.5 games, one way or the other. If you did a over or under 2.5, it'd probably be it, or maybe 1.5. I'm going to roll the dice that Florida gets it right with DJ Lagway, and Florida increases by 2 wins.
To get them to 9. They were 7-5 last year, so you go 2 is the biggest increase.
Yeah, I guess it's 7. Let me give them 3. Let me get them to 10 regular season wins.
That's a playoff team, bro.
Yeah.
So you think Florida gets it right with that tough schedule.
Now, give me the right. I reserve the right when we do like our playoff teams. Y'all can't come back and say, oh, Brown,
well,
you had them with 10 wins. I mean, I reserve the right to change this.
So I could pick 2 losses out here with my,
without Michelson Laser Vision?
Is it offensive if I say Helen Keller could pick 2 losses out of this schedule? Is that
I
offensive?
don't think Helen, first of all, she wouldn't hear you say that. And secondly, I don't think she's
offensive?
alive.
I mean, Stevie Wonder, there's debate whether he's blind or not, could pick out 2 losses on that schedule.
Sure.
Brown, at LSU, at Miami, home to Texas, at Texas A&M.
It's a tough schedule, Jim.
Georgia, at Ole Miss, Tennessee at home, Florida State at home. And you think that team can go 10-2?
Yeah, they can go 10-2.
Oh, Brown. Okay, not one of mine.
Okay, good.
But I did have a 3 increase.
All right.
I had 2 of them, so I got to give both of them now. My star one, the one I didn't think you were going to take, so I was going to go tough schedule, but they improve. I go Oklahoma because of their offense and their quarterback play, healthy receivers.
Just a brutal schedule.
From 6-6 to 9-3 is where I go. So 3 losses, just being kind to them. Lose to Texas, lose to...
Keep going. You can pick a lot of them.
But I think they can win a lot of those games down the stretch there.
Do you now?
Yeah, lose to Alabama and, lose at home to LSU, and they're still 9-3.
So it's a 6-game stretch there. I think 4-2 would be terrific in that 6-game stretch.
Well, 7 games.
7 games. I'm sorry, 7-game stretch. Excuse
Oklahoma,
me.
Texas, loss. Oklahoma, South Carolina, win.
You just pencil that in as a win. I'm not willing to do that.
I am. Ole Miss at Oklahoma, win. Oklahoma at Tennessee, win.
That's a loss.
Oklahoma and Alabama
That's a
loss,
loss.
3-2. Missouri and Oklahoma win. LSU a loss. Those are my 3 losses there, 4-3 in that stretch. Beating Illinois State, beating Michigan, beating Temple, beating Auburn, beating Kent State before that.
Yeah,
9-3.
just showing beat Michigan and Auburn. Yeah, I mean
9-3.
Okay.
But Auburn's my other one. From 5-7 to 8-4. That's a 3-win total increase.
It is.
8-4 is realistic for that team.
Well, we did this the other day because we were talking about Auburn.
That's the one I thought you would have. I thought you would have this one.
I'm not ready to go there yet with Auburn. I still need to see more out of Jackson Arnold. But we did this with Auburn the other day because we were talking about where Andy had them, and that was probably like a 9-3 team if Andy had them there. And we painted you a scenario where they could have 3 losses and 9 wins and there's not a single win in there you get like extremely fired up about.
That's right.
So that's a testament to their schedule right there. Like, because they're not, if you just say they lose the 3 best teams, you think Oklahoma's one of those. The other one would be Georgia and Alabama. Here's their 9 wins. Baylor on the road, Ball State, South Alabama, A&M on the road, which would end up being their best win. Missouri at Arkansas, Kentucky at Vandy and Mercer. There's not a win in there where Auburn fans are like, my gosh, do you remember that game?
That's right. That's right.
I mean, there's just so
it'd be like last year. Last year, Texas A&M was their best win. It was at home.
Yeah, and you're like, that's a super average Texas A&M team.
Yeah, but that was a 5-7 team. 9-3.
Yeah,
or excuse me, 8-4. With that schedule, they still increased by 3, and that's what we're doing here. So that's the one I thought you would have.
I did not.
I got
Sorry.
Auburn and Oklahoma at a +3. You think Florida can go +3?
Yep.
To be fair, though, Brown said +2 to start with, so don't kill him. He was at 9-3 originally, and then he eked up to 10-2.
Yeah, I got bold.
So I'm going to write him down at 9-3.
Okay, right. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, 9-3.
Do I get shot in the face if I'm wrong on this?
Well, I mean, maybe.
Okay.
I'll remember it forever.
I'm well aware.
The team that drops the most in their win total from the SEC last year is who?
I'm down to 2 teams.
I've got one that is a -3 for me.
Yeah, I think both these I'm considering a -3. I'll just go ahead and pull the trigger on it. I'm going to take Vandy as a -3.
Vandy is a -3.
They got
were
to
6-6.
Yeah.
I got Vandy as a -1. I got them going 5-7.
Well, they play at the thing that would keep them from being a 3-win team is they play at Virginia Tech, and they did beat Virginia Tech this year. You go to Lane Stadium. If they can beat Virginia Tech, I could see them going winless in the conference this year, but I really wanted to go Missouri too.
Missouri is my
I think
team.
Missouri could go -3.
Missouri was a house of cards last year.
I agree.
Quarterback change, right?
Yep.
Brady's gone.
Yep.
Luther Burden, who didn't seem like he gave 100.
Yep. He didn't, and I think that's where I want to go here is Missouri.
Okay, well then we agree.
Kansas,
-3.
Kansas out of conference is a tough game for them. They should win their other 3 out of conference games. Excuse me. But I mean, well, you start picking those conference wins, and it gets tough.
Yep, I agree. Just the teams I have that do not change their win totals. Florida, I think, ends up being 7-5 again.
Then he gets fired, right?
Not with that schedule, but maybe.
Well, I don't know.
I got Arkansas 6-6 again.
I think that would be an accomplishment to go 6-6.
I got Georgia 10-2 again.
Okay.
I got Texas A&M 8-4 again. Teams that increase their win total. Mississippi State by 1 from 2-10 to 3-9.
I looked at State and I'm like, I just can't make a case for any more than 1 or 2.
Alabama by 1 from 9-3 to 10-2.
I'll buy that.
Kentucky by 1 from 4-8 to 5-7.
Okay.
And LSU by 2 from 8-4 to 10-2.
You know, Andy painted a interesting scenario in there too that would have happened now twice to Brian Kelly, that he could have a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback and miss the playoffs. He's already done it once with Jaden Daniels. Boy, you do that twice. That's pretty hard to do in the SEC. To have a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback and miss the playoffs twice? Once is one thing. Yep. But to do that twice would be really difficult to do.
Losing Missouri was -3 for me. Teams that dropped 2, Vandy from 6-6. I've actually got them going 4-8. I think everybody catches up to Diago. I got South Carolina, everybody's off-season playoff contender, from 9-3. I got them going 7-5.
Right.
Reaction?
South Carolina 7-5?
Yeah. Everybody's
Joey Freshwater in the chat room is like, you got to love Dunaway giving Oklahoma the automatic win in Columbia when South Carolina ran them out of Norman this past season.
Yeah, different teams. Yeah,
ran them out of Norman,
check back with me. When's that game? When's that game, Joey Freshwater?
Mid-season?
Yeah, if you don't sleep in till noon, Joey Freshwater, check back with me.
Yeah, that is...
after Oklahoma takes that little wagon on the road to Columbia.
All right.
And beats them in October, right after Red River. You don't even get a week off from, maybe losing to Texas, and you have to go to Columbia and saddle up one time. Teams that drop a game, 9-3 to 8-4 for Ole Miss, 10-2 to 9-3 for Tennessee, Texas 11-1 to 10-2. Those are my projections from the SEC. I always love doing that every year. Looking at the schedule coming out of spring practice.
Are we going to do I don't even know who won it last year. We need to remember to keep up with it. Do where we do the draft and you get whatever your total number is.
Right. We'll do that.
We did
summer.
that based on win totals. I think on the Vegas win totals.
Maybe.
We took the over/under, and you get, if you're under, you get however many under it goes or whatever. Yeah, let's do that.
We do a lot of that in the summer. We'll pull that out at some point as well. That's our spotlight today, brought to you by our friend Alexander Shunnarah. Also, our friends at Hemp Hill, they bring you the chance to get in at a great cost to get that air conditioning checked out before the temperatures get higher than 82 degrees, which is what it'll be today. Whether you're experiencing plumbing, heating, or cooling issues, at our friends at Hemp Hill, the name Birmingham's trusted since 1954. They'll help you out right now. You can contact them by phone if you'd like, 205-229-2090, 229-2090. Go online and just search the name Hemp Hill Services. You'll find the great history of Hemp Hill and a company that will help you with anything that is not draining right, flowing right, or running right. You got to have a good plumber on standby, but heating and cooling, when the air conditioning goes out in the south in the summertime, that's an immediate dire situation. Have Hemp Hill on standby, 205-229-2090, 229-2090. We got EG back with us for trash. On the other side, that includes, by the way, before we get to trash, a look at Deion Sanders' home that is now for sale in Prosper, Texas. It is a sight. It is a sight. Hang around.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Birmingham's favorite lawn party is back. The Regions Tradition, presented by Coca-Cola, returns to Greystone May 14th through 18th. Watch golf's greatest legends and don't miss the star-studded Celebrity Pro-Am, featuring Nick Saban, Charles Barkley, Nate Oates, Hugh Freeze, and country star Riley Green. Soak up the sun at the White Claw Watering Hole and Casamigos Club. Enjoy the local food trucks and cap off the fun with Monsters of Yacht in concert Saturday following play. The Regions Tradition, presented by Coca-Cola. Get your tickets now.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Hey, you. Days warming up. Looking like spring. And at New Balance Birmingham, we've got the thing. What pops and what's fresh? Check the selects. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone, the New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Okay, before Brownie tells us about Woodhouse, and E.G. will chime in because she is
I was there this week.
a Woodhouse person.
Yeah.
Let her do it.
I did. We were just talking about ranking of the SEC cities, which was not scientific, but it was back to Brown's love of Mecca, known as Nashville, to him. And E.G. and I were just talking in the break. It really isn't about the bar, the restaurant, the town you're in. It's about the people you're with.
Agreed.
That makes the situation. And oftentimes, not to pat you on the back here, not to save you on your love for Nashville, I don't know if you're getting paid by the Chamber of Commerce, but usually when you're in Nashville, you're with your lovely bride. So it's the love of your life. Usually it's without your kids. So it's a great time for you. It's with a special person. So E.G. and I were talking. If you're with the right people, you could have a lawn chair, a fire, and a pasture anywhere in America.
Specifically America.
In America. Nowhere outside
Nowhere
America,
else.
but in America.
Like Costa Rica?
And have a good time.
Yeah.
It's about the people you're with, and oftentimes you're in Nashville with the lovely Jen, and that is why you love Nashville so much, in my opinion.
Like
right?
explaining to me why I love Nashville.
And see, also I'm able to paint him in the corner because he can't disagree with that. 'Cause he'd be
That's
like,
true.
no, I could have fun with anybody in
but
Nashville.
I mean, I've been to Nashville without her and had just as much fun with you guys.
I usually don't go out with you guys
I know,
because
but you were there.
I don't love Nashville.
Yeah.
Except when I was there for basketball with Little T, we went out. We had a great time.
I just think
because all my Alabama buddies were with us.
And
Taylor. I mean, I'm not a shot at Taylor.
Yeah. I've discussed this before, and I've actually discussed it with your wife. I think you build things up so big in your mind they can't possibly reach your level of expectation.
I cried when my nephew scored a goal last night in a huge high school soccer game.
Wept.
Like his dad was excited, his mom was excited, his sisters in college was excited, my wife, his aunt was excited. I was excited and tears trickling down my face because I knew how big of a game it was for them.
Was it a state championship?
It was number 1 versus number 2 in the state playoffs. Losers go home.
Wow. Who were they playing?
Homewood was number 1. Mountain Brook was number 2 at Mountain Brook's Field. And he ends up the game winner, the second goal from 35 yards out.
Amazing.
He hits the shot, and I knew how big. I mean, he had been telling me about this game. We're going to meet Homewood in the second round of the playoffs, and it's going to be huge, likely 1 versus 2. He'd been telling me about it for a month, so I knew how much it meant for him. And when he scored that goal, and I'm not the best uncle. We rarely have seen each other in his life, relatively speaking. And I couldn't stop crying because I knew how much it meant for him. So yeah, I can overplay things. I mean, that was just a high school soccer game, but I can build a moment up
and sometimes be disappointed or be thoroughly exceed expectations. So yeah, I've got some emotional flaws.
They're not flaws, Jim.
Yeah.
I'm just pointing out that you build these things up, and like they're not always going to reach those expectations. Where I think I go in thinking I'm just going to have a good time.
Okay. And Deion Sanders' house, $5.5 million. Would you expect that to be an extraordinary mansion for sale?
Yes.
I don't want to build it up too much. Take a look.
When you do it to him, when you do it to him, he gets so frustrated.
No, here's Deion Sanders.
I anticipate this being something I would not be comfortable living in.
Wow. I mean, only $5.5 million, 29,200 square feet in Prosper, Texas. How big is your living accommodations right now? Is it close to 29,000
no,
square feet?
I'm looking at like 200 square feet.
Look at that. Look at
that's
the marble.
a bargain. That's a bargain for 5.5.
I think it is too.
But you know what? Like,
those are hideous colors, by the way.
hate that.
Wow.
I don't like that. Is this for sale? Is this why we're able to see the inside?
This is from Zillow Gone Wild. I was going to say that looked like a bowling alley.
Yeah,
Ironically, it's a bowling alley.
2 lanes right there.
I mean, $5.5 million. This is a steal.
It is. I mean, if we're interested, we can Texas studio people.
Look at that, into a theater. Tyler wouldn't even have to leave his damn house.
That's right, Tyler. To get
that
more
bowling alley looks like a '90s Chuck E. Cheese.
It does. You're right about that.
What is that? Is that a kitchen?
That's a kitchen.
Oh, I hate that.
Question mark?
Is that a bar?
It is a kitchen.
It's an odd-looking kitchen.
Now the
What is
bathroom.
that?
That's a hot tub,
That's a
shower.
bathroom?
Two seats in the theater.
Why is the
disappointed by
bathroom
that.
nicer than the kitchen?
Well, you say nicer.
Oh, indoor football field.
Of course, yes.
I mean, hell,
Look at the-
Kirby Smart just got one. Deion had it in his house, indoor facility. Basketball. You gotta believe. All this is at one mansion.
5.5 million people. I mean, that's a house on 30A. You could have a house on 30A,
That's
or
true.
you could do Deion's mansion.
Can I just point out, can you pause on that photo right there, Scott? I don't know if you could pause these, but...
That's a lot of grass.
Well, no, I'm just pointing out, like, it's a massive house built, like, right among all these regular houses.
Yeah, that's a good point.
If I'm going to build a $5 million house, I want a little more privacy than he's got.
Well, look at the top left too. That also looks like a shopping.
Is that a Lowe's
center or something? Like
Yeah.
Best Buy.
Oh, no, that does look like maybe a Costco.
Yeah, it's just a weird place for a $5.5 million house.
Now-
It looks like he's sandwiched in between like two
He
neighborhoods
is.
and a strip mall.
Yeah.
Was this
That's
built
terrible.
prior to all of this?
This
Probably
is what happened.
so, yeah.
Here's
Yeah.
what happened. Somebody built that mansion
In the middle of
built that
nowhere.
Mansion,
Yeah.
owned all that land, and to pay for that mansion, he sold off the lots.
I mean, that hurts the property value, though. There's no doubt. Like, I mean, if I'm going to spend $5.5 million, I want way more privacy than that house
Agreed.
gives me.
Agreed. You gotta splurge for the land around. You know what I mean?
That's right. Yeah, whoever built that initially, whether it was prime or not, should have bought the lots around it.
Emily Grace Dutton over here.
They ain't going to dig for water on my land.
Tell us about Woodhouse, guys.
Birmingham.woodhousespas.com, birmingham.woodhousespas.com. That's all I'm going to say about it because EG has recently used it.
I
My
was
wife and
there-
I did too. It's fantastic.
2 days ago, I actually had to get my eyebrows done. And I was able to get in for a late appointment. They were super accommodating. It's always a great experience. They're very professional, very kind. And what I like about Woodhouse is that it's an experience. Even for things like getting your nails done or your eyebrows done, you can go somewhere else. But it's not the relaxing ambiance that you get at Woodhouse. So that's why I prefer it. And the staff is incredible. You're always met with professionalism, like I mentioned, and just a good experience overall for the cost that you're spending.
All right, there with our friends at Woodhouse. Before we do trash, EG's going to give us trash today. We always hear about Mr. Irrelevant in the NFL draft.
Brock Purdy.
Yeah, that's true. He's the most
famous
successful one ever, yeah.
Tyler Shuck has a very unique role here. You see this already?
I think so.
Not. The Saints quarterback?
Yes. He is likely going to go down in history as the last player drafted in the NFL draft that was born in the 1900s.
That's incredible.
Oh, wow. And
Think
he
about
is
that.
the last player drafted.
He's the last player drafted that was born in the 1900s.
That's weird.
Yep. They do not expect anyone else to be drafted in the NFL draft that was born in 1999 or sooner.
I mean, it is 2025. I mean, that makes you 26 years old.
Yep. So Tyler Shuck is expected to be the last NFL player ever drafted that was born in the 1900s.
That makes sense when you think about it, but I'm a 2001 baby.
Yeah.
and
not NFL draft eligible.
Not.
I mean, you still have some eligibility.
I do
left.
have some eligibility. If you guys are, searching,
Right,
looking,
yeah.
I'm open. I'll have my people call your people.
Brown's looking for more quarterbacks if you can
Yes.
throw the ball, EG. That gets us to Trash Today. This hour brought to you by Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Go by and see Sterling and the crew. He has curated, second time I've used that in the spot today, curated a great location there. Same location for over a decade, but it's got some cool memorabilia there. It just feels like home to Sterling and that crew there. Megan helps out when you're there, too. Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, just good comfort food. Man, it's worth the drive there. Lunch, dinner, happy hour. If I was in the area today, who knows, I may just go down there just for the chicken. Champy'sChicken.com. Hit it, man.
Congratulations, The Cure Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees 2019. Are you as excited as I am?
By the sounds of it, no.
LT's Trash is presented by Bud Light.
Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Our friends at Bud Light, EG.
All right, so speaking of ages, it says people of a certain age will all be very aware of an anti-piracy ad campaign that ran for years in the early 2000s. You wouldn't steal a font. Unfortunately, famous anti-piracy campaign may have used a pirated typeface.
Oh, no way.
Man, boy.
Don't steal a font, and then they stole a font.
Yeah.
That's what we call irony.
Well, the original spot was not to pirate movies. It was you wouldn't steal a car, you wouldn't steal a purse.
Yeah, but they stole a font.
They stole a font.
The ads, which had an overtly threatening aura, would question why you'd steal a movie if you wouldn't steal a car or a handbag. Well, it turns out whoever was behind that campaign may have stolen its font. A Blue Sky user who goes by Rib appears to have made the initial discovery more than 20 years on from the ads and seemingly being used on every single DVD produced for about half a decade. Wow.
Now, is there a chance that font was created for this ad and now somebody else owns it?
Oh.
No.
Okay.
No.
Tyler shut that right down.
So we continue on by using something called Font Forge. Rib appears to have discovered that the original anti-piracy ads were using a pirated version of a font called FF Confidential rather than the original. With the unlicensed copycat, the creators opted for named X-Band Rough. Okay.
I remember one of the discussions. This was radio side back in the day. It was right after the McGregor Mayweather fight. And is that who it was? Was it Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather?
Yeah, the UCF and the UFC and the boxer. Yeah.
And people were showing it like people were periscoping. That's when Periscope was still alive, the actual pay-per-view. And like a surprising amount of people disagreed. I think we were all in agreement, like, yeah, that's stealing.
It's stealing. But we all participated. I remember bringing this up when Army had a chance to beat Oklahoma.
That is true.
In Norman. In a football opening weekend, I think. It was a pay-per-view game. Wasn't on television anywhere. Oklahoma, you had to pay to watch it.
Yep.
And it was such a good game. Army was going to beat nationally ranked Oklahoma.
Ball in hand with a chance to win, as I remember it.
With a chance to win, and somebody was streaming it online.
And a billion people were watching.
We were all watching.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait, when was this?
Oh, this was years ago.
Oh, not that long.
It's been...
I look it up. I'm curious.
Oh, well. Army had every chance to win the game.
I'm going to say it was 2018.
28-21, September 22nd, not February, September 22nd of 2018.
Oh my gosh, anyway. Nice.
I mean, you guys are surprised. I can still...
Jim remembers.
I'm not over here drooling all the time.
No. How about EG time of possession was 44 minutes to 15 minutes?
Oh my
41
goodness.
to 59.
Wow.
Yeah.
Speaking of college towns, have y'all been to Norman? Because I was talking about
I have not. Jim has.
I like Norman a lot.
I like Norman.
It's very, we were talking about this. It reminds me of an East Coast kind of vibe with the library. I really remember the library and not like the bar in Oxford.
That game went to overtime. That's what everybody was watching the overtime. I'd forgotten it went to overtime, actually.
My problem with Norman is we stayed in Oklahoma City.
OKC. Yeah. It's not a
Which
bad.
I like Oklahoma
I've
City.
driven through Oak City. I didn't spend much time
I
there.
didn't love Oklahoma City.
But when I went to an Oklahoma State game, I dated an Auburn girl that was working in Stillwater at the time.
Okay.
I actually stayed in Stillwater. Loved that town.
Interesting.
But again, I think it was the people you're with.
Yeah, amen. I was there for the 2021 TCU OU game where Caleb Williams debuted because Spencer Rattler got hurt.
Oh, wow.
I know.
I remember watching that game.
I know. I was there. I remember thinking, like, the and I went to Georgia Southern. I mentioned that a lot.
I hadn't heard.
But I remember we were talking to our friend Ross. We said, "Hey, when do we need to go to the game?" I'm expecting we got to line up 2 hours before get there.
That's right.
We walked in with 2 minutes to kick, and the place was a ghost town. And I was like, "Ooh, yikes!"
Yikes.
Yeah. Okay, this is a story that we have been talking about today and yesterday. The kangaroo.
That's right.
Oh, the kangaroo.
Somebody in the chat room said they learned this from Melton yesterday during the meltdown.
We broke it live.
It broke live, yeah.
We broke it live. So, kangaroo captured after crash shuts down Alabama interstate. A kangaroo is back with its owner after being involved in a crash that caused an Alabama interstate to be shut down on Tuesday. The two-vehicle crash happened shortly before noon in the southbound lane near the 46-mile marker of Interstate 85 in Macon County, according to the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency. Wow. What would you guys do if you're cruising down and you see a kangaroo?
I would...
Stop, take a picture? Or do you just keep going?
I mean, if it was at some point you're like, did I just see that? Am I hallucinating? What the crap's going on? What did I have for lunch? Did I eat mushrooms?
Yeah. By the way, do you think when God was creating all the creatures that sometimes he just got bored and said, let's do the kangaroo's legs backwards?
Yeah.
Maybe.
You know what I'm saying?
Let's just see if this works.
You want to give them good arms? No.
Yeah. But like their knee bends totally the opposite of our knees.
That's right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now you see them being that way sometimes on an NFL Sunday, and you're like,
you don't like that
he's
one.
out for the season.
Yeah.
That's when Joe Buck goes, we're not going to show you that one again.
You do not want to see this
We
replay.
cannot show you that one.
So Andre Brunson said, when somebody said there was a kangaroo, of course I didn't believe it, and nobody believed it. But I'm looking at him, said the Macon County Sheriff. The owner used a dart to tranquilize the animal. Brunson's video showed the drugged kangaroo being carried to a vehicle to be returned to its home.
I'm going back home, guys.
We see a little bit of everything here, the sheriff said. The animal's owner, Patrick Starr, his name is Patrick Starr, with 2 R's, told the Associated Press that the animal's name is Sheila, and she escaped from her enclosure. She's back home safe. She's up. She's not sedated anymore. She's eating. She's drinking. She is not injured.
So did the kangaroo cause the 2-car accident?
Apparently, yes.
I'm going to guess, yeah.
So it wasn't in the back seat of one of the cars that got out when the accident happened. Okay.
No.
I can see that happening because you're going to react.
Right.
Yeah.
The kangaroo was being treated by Auburn University College of Veterinary Medicine. The family runs, I know, shout out Auburn, Forrester, Taylor. The family runs a pumpkin patch and petting zoo, but Sheila is just a personal pet.
Yep.
That's interesting.
You know, there was that petting zoo in Hope Hall. That's closer to Montgomery, though, but I think it has since closed. But they had a lot of stuff in there.
One of the
there was a drive-through.
One of those times I said, Maggie, we got to take the kids on a summer vacation. We don't have a ton of money, and she made chicken salad out of one summer vacation. We went to what's the place with flowers down in Georgia in the lake?
Callaway Gardens.
Callaway Gardens, yeah.
And on the way to Callaway Gardens, and then went to 30A, but the cheaper side of 30A. But on the way, there was a live petting zoo of a bunch of animals. And
were there little baby deer there?
Yeah, and then there were steer and you know, other things.
Yeah.
That would walk right up to your car and feed them. And we had the best time laughing our butts off.
Did they have the giraffes that come into the car?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what that place in Hope Hall had. Yeah, they'd reach down in your sunroof.
Yeah. And then, you know, typical Jim. I was like,
did you cry?
You know, these people at Hope Hall or wherever we are. This people in Georgia they're not like professional trainers. These are wild animals.
That's right.
And
Roll the windows up.
We're just letting these wild animals stick their head in our cars with our 10-year-old daughter and a handful of feed, holding it up for a giraffe and not expecting anything bad to happen.
Yeah,
see if that bear will eat a steak.
Yeah.
Here, little 4-year-old Carter. Get out and ride that tiger.
That's right.
All right, our last story today, we have another animal story. It's a slow news. Tortoise found a mile from home.
Been missing a year.
This looks like it's our Friday headlines for football season. Like we put this together.
It does. This is Dunaway, the Dunaway Digest.
Hey, LT's just going, hey, Tyler, here's my headline. If you can put something together for me for the next segment.
He was found 9 months after going missing, and the little guy only went a mile.
Why 9 months?
Seriously, it was 9 months?
9 months.
Yeah.
And he was on a mile.
That's a horrible search team, though. If I can't cover a mile in 9 months.
Oh, we'll get there eventually.
He covered the distance of an average pace of 6 meters a day. What is that in?
That's 6 feet.
6 feet?
Well, I mean, No,
Or 6 yards.
He's got to
6
go
yards.
long.
6
6 yards a day?
Yeah.
An average pace of 6 meters a day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the pet shop revealed on Facebook that the beloved tortoise had been handed in and returned to his owners. Also, who hands in a tortoise? I mean,
That's a
they
good point. Yeah, I need to report a.
That looks like that tortoise has been missing for 9 months.
So the white lines are what the vet is referring to as claw marks. There's another picture that shows her eye. So that was the identifying characteristic. So these people were really adamant about finding said tortoise. We have some fantastic news. We have found the owner of the tortoise that was handed in at the start of the week. His name is Leonardo. He went missing from his home in July last year.
She's so happy.
But okay, he went 6 feet or 6 yards a day.
Yeah,
I mean, how did you not? How did you not catch him?
If you cared about the tortoise, how did you not find it?
How'd you get out of your yard?
First day.
I know. He's not out of my yard.
I mean, a 6-yard perimeter is all you had to do.
Literally.
We're going to set up a perimeter.
I have not seen 6 yards at that slow a pace since Alabama played Oklahoma this year.
It was, oh, wow. The owner,
He got back to the cage. He's like, oh, almost made it, guys.
the owner says it was totally my fault. We were out in the garden. We just had our second child. I got a bit distracted, and he just wandered off out of our sight.
Yeah. I would say that they probably started looking too far away.
Probably.
Yeah, that's right. You go to the next neighborhood over. It's a tortoise. I don't think I need to do that.
He's led a very comfortable life for 13 years under a heat lamp in my house, so we didn't think he was going to survive the winter being out for the first time.
Yeah.
Well,
it was a concern.
If only he had a protective roof over his head.
That's retractable.
and temperature replicated.
And cold-blooded.
Yeah.
Survived it. Yeah. Way to go,
They're
tortoise.
very adventurous things.
Yeah. 6 meters a day, and you
Yeah.
couldn't find him, lady.
Yep.
With a nice smile. All right, that is our trash today, brought to you by our friends at Bud Light. Easy to drink and easy to enjoy. We leave with some slapping video. Puka Nacua is one of LT's favorite human beings. He's got a brother, Samson Nacua, who plays for Michigan in the UFL. They played in St. Louis this past weekend. Some fans were jawing after the game, and Samson slaps a fan. He's been suspended by the UFL.
I'd hope.
You can't hear the audio from Matty Fresh TV's video here, but the audio of that slap was something the WWE wrestlers would be like,
no, it was loud.
You did it right.
I think that'd kill me.
Yeah, one more time. And his friend, watch his teammate friend start laughing at him.
Point the guy.
You got that mouth slap there? He's suspended from the UFL. Takes a lot to get suspended, I would imagine.
I would think so, yeah.
Slapping a fan will get you that way. That is the end of the show today. We're back with you tomorrow, 9 a.m. Central Time. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.